Welcome to episode 150 of the Reptile Gumbo podcast.
I can't believe you've had so many of these.
I can't believe I keep doing them.
James has never missed one.
I have never missed one. And my both of my co-hosts are here.
Well, the 1 week you would have missed it, we just canceled on you. It was totally fine. We didn't want to figure out how to run the board.
Yep.
So I'm the glue that holds this thing together.
I mean, sure.
Or the shit that sticks to the wall. One of the two. But yeah, 150 episodes.
How does that feel to know that you have put out 150 episodes of random shit?
It's random shit. I think if I actually like some of the podcast people out there that really care about having listener numbers, if I was them, I'd be upset because I have 150 episodes and like 10 people listen to me total. But
no. I think a lot more people listen to you total than you think. They just don't listen to you when you're live on Facebook.
That's probably true. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm very impressed that I've done this. It's been what, 2.5 years now?
I remember before we started and you were like, I want to make a podcast that talks about everything random in the hobby. And I'm like,
it's fucking random.
That's a Facebook user because he's a Yankees fan and doesn't know how to work a computer.
Oh, it's
that's Dax.
Yeah. Because he's a retic. You know those retic people.
Oh my gosh.
Just bro guys wearing their tight affliction shirts, hanging out with each other. All talking about how big the retics are.
I can honestly say Dax is not one of those.
Dax is not, but he's shaped like one.
There's some ball python bros like that too. Let's be real fucking clear.
There are.
There's a couple of colubrid bros like that too.
My Lord.
Not many. Or you know what? Since we have our call you breads, since Owen's on time.
Oh, I'm saying colubrids.
I'm going to say it correctly.
I think I go back and forth.
Like you can't even respond because I'm on screen.
All right, let's get our intro stuff in so we can.
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, Katie.
Well, if you're looking for high quality racks, including colubrid rats, then go ahead and give Lone Star Reptile Racks a call. They offer a variety of sizes for all types of snakes, geckos, rats, and more. You can even order something custom. Shipping is available, or you can plan to pick up at a Herps Reptile show near you. Visit lsreptileracks.com to reach out to Lone Star Reptile Racks and place your order today.
Yeah. Reach out to Lone Star Reptile. He's right here. I could reach out, but I'm not going to reach out and touch him.
You're going to reach out and touch him?
But so speaking of reaching out and picking up one in person, let me go ahead and go through some of the herp shows that are coming up that you're also going to be at. The next one is Longview, Texas this weekend. You have a show this weekend, Robert.
I do.
Are you ready for the show this weekend?
No.
I hope your weather is going to be better than the weather here this weekend.
Probably not.
It's like 3 hours north, isn't it?
Probably not.
It's
supposed to be gross and rainy all weekend.
Yeah, it's supposed to rain all weekend up there too.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But then we have the following weekend, the big show in Conroe, Texas, January 28th and 29th. I think that one's going to be a good one.
It's somebody's birthday.
I wonder who that is.
Feel free. As long as it doesn't freeze, their long-term predictions are showing.
You shut the fuck up.
Like below freezing and
you can't say the word freeze in Texas. People's assholes pucker up.
Not okay.
Yeah. Then February 25th and 26th, a month later, down in Corpus Christi, Texas. And then the first, Sean did the whole thing that I don't like some of the other shows do, but I guess you have to say the closest big city so people know where the fuck you're talking about. But the Baton Rouge show, March 4th or 5th, which is in Gonzales, not Baton Rouge. It's like 20, 30 minutes out of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
But the thing is also...
Well, the New Orleans show wasn't in New Orleans. It was in Westwego.
That's true.
I mean...
Slidell show's in Slidell, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the Baton Rouge show, the venue is great. I've been to that venue when it was the other reptile show, people. And I'm not going to lie, when they first started that show there, that was actually a pretty good show. You remember that? I vended that one. It was a pretty good show.
It was a while back.
That was a long time.
It's going to be cold and rainy on Saturday.
This weekend. But that Baton Rouge show, that location is great. I think the biggest thing for the herps is they've got to overcome people thinking that it's the other show, which became so shitty. But it's not. It'll be a herp show. It'll be full of vendors. They won't be selling rainbow vacuums and pots and pans, and there won't be a knife guy selling kitchen knives. So go check out
a knife guy at one point at herps, and he turned out to be a big ass
fake
fraud. Never was actually on Forged in Fire. He had a good shtick.
He had a good what?
Shtick.
Oh, okay.
SCHTIC some.
Gotcha. I didn't know. I didn't know how well you knew that, dude. The Bryan College Station Show, March 11th and 12th. Then over to Waco, Texas, March 25th, 26th. Then back over to Louisiana to Slidell, April 1st and 2nd. I'm glad I'm not going to be at a show on April 1st. Like that. I'm not going to be there for April Fool's Day. And then the Austin, Texas show, April 22nd and 23rd. That's over towards our friend Corey Martin, who we need to get on, but she's going to Africa soon. So maybe we'll get her on when she comes back to Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk to Corey about Africa.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
I think I'm about to inherit her shirt that you have.
It fits me.
I may or may not put it in the dryer more than it should probably be put in the dryer.
Hey, I'm losing weight. It'll fit me.
I know. Quit losing weight.
I'm losing weight.
Fit me.
I'm about the same weight, but I'm getting healthier. I've been to the gym almost every day. I still don't like it. I don't care what anybody says about gyms. Going to the gym is not a fun thing. Those people are stupid.
That was weird.
What the fuck was that?
That was me rubbing on you.
Could you not? Like, not right now. Later on, it's fine.
Later on, I'll be asleep. So good luck with that.
That's true. I'll rub on myself. But
Jesus.
Come see us at the Herb Show.
I took a nap. Now I'm feisty.
Robert will be at almost all of these. You going to Waco?
Oh, yeah.
He'll be at Waco. Going. Yeah, you'll be Austin, Bryan College. Yeah, you'll be at all the Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
Bryan College Station. If you need any Girl Scout cookies, let me know. I can hook you up.
I'll be the only one at Corpus with Cages and Racks.
What?
Again.
So come check out one of the shows. Also, a shout out to our friends over at Wiregrass Exotics. If you're in South Alabama, go check them for all your feeder needs. Don't get a heat rock from you. Said that Amanda was not happy about heat rocks.
Nope.
Don't go in and ask for a heat rock. Recent post. Anyways, and our giveaway this month from our friend Brittany Gobble over at Gobble's Reptiles, which again, I agree with Chris. She really missed out on a great opportunity to call it Gobble's Balls. It would have been a great.
Did y'all tell her that again when she was
I did not.
Yeah, but she said it a million times.
Brittany Gobbles Balls. I know we talked about her dinosaur that she owns, also known as an emu.
Yeah.
But no, she's giving away a blood python calendar. All you have to do is go over to our Facebook page. I put it on our Facebook page and our Facebook group pinned to the top. Just answer the question. It was, what two reptiles would you mix together if you could? That was a Brittany Gobble question, 100%. But it's pretty good. So go over there, answer that. You could win a free blood python calendar, 2023 blood python calendar.
So now we have two people that we know that want emus whose wives are telling them no.
Who else?
Drew.
Oh, that's right, Drew Schultz. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, VivTech. Give a shout out to VivTech real quick. If you need any UVB bulbs, LED UVB, dimmable LED UVB bulbs
that are awesome.
They are amazing. Check out VivTech products and use code Gumbo22. I haven't gotten back. Well, take this back. Erica has not gotten back to me if we're changing the code. Right now it is Gumbo22. If it doesn't work, someone shout out to me. Let me know. But right now it's Gumbo22 for 15% off your light bulbs and any of the other cool things they have, which I need to get. I want the cameras and I want the sensors and I want all the VivTech products.
Mm-hmm.
So just throw that out.
Those things require money. So
what is this money you're talking about?
I don't know, because I sure as fuck don't have any.
I need to get some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think that's all of our sponsors. Let's get into our show. Let's bring in our guest, who I think was on my guest on like episode 4 or something, if I remember correctly.
We can be really funny for a moment too. Go ahead and bring him in.
It's Owen McIntyre of, I guess, go Rogue Reptiles or NPR, whichever you want to go with.
Rogue came first. So, as much as you want to say NPR, Rogue came first. So we can do that.
So everybody who knows me knows that I'm not, I'm in the hobby. Yes, but I don't know much about the hobby. You, however, James, have listened to podcasts that Owen has been on for forever.
Yes.
No offense. I typically take naps in the car when he listens
totally
to podcasts because he's driving and I'm
my
not.
voice does knock people out. Yeah.
It's actually very soothing to fall asleep to. But so I had this image of you in my head of what you look like.
And it's not that?
Not
it
this,
is not.
Not this. Yeah, I know.
There's nothing wrong with this though at all.
There's nothing wrong. I swear. It's not you. It's me.
I mean, you're rocking it. But I don't know why. I don't know. I thought you were
It's worse when
blind.
you're at shows and you're talking to somebody and somebody like an aisle over will be like, I know your voice, and just come running up to you and you're like,
we had that happen.
Hello. Like, yeah.
Somebody did that to me at a Conroe show. I was working the register and they were like, you're Katie from Reptile Gumbo podcast. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, I am. It totally caught me off guard.
It's weird when they know the names of your animals, and they it's like, I met this person 2 seconds ago. They're like, how is this animal? I'm like, good. Hi. Yeah. So that's,
I don't know why you
that's
blonde
because
in
you're
my
one of
mind.
those weird ass guys that names your shit.
Yeah.
We have a handful of stuff in our house that has names.
I am one of those.
Yeah, but it
Not
works for
because
them.
of you.
Because he can be like, this baby came from so and so, and people know what he's talking about. It actually works. I'm too lazy to do it.
I've outsourced that to numerous nieces, nephews, my wife, several people now. I rarely ever name anything. I just type it up.
Oh, that is
and
right.
put it on the cage card. Yeah.
You are now married. That's a drastic difference
there's
from
this
the
thing
last
on
time you were
I
on.
can't get it off. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
stuck
did
for
happen.
life.
If you take it
Yeah.
off, they seem to find it and bring it back to you. I don't.
Katie and I came in at episode 39.
What?
Y'all did it.
I just
39?
went back and looked.
I want to say Owen
So-
is episode 4.
So that's what I was originally looking for, but then I got
So that means
sidetracked.
episode 159.
Are you trying to do math in your head right now?
I did try to do
I just
math.
watched your brain melt.
That's 120.
Okay, just kidding. So our 150th episode, Robert, I'll make us cookies or
Will
something.
be 189 by the
There
way.
we go, 189.
Jesus Christ. Oh, I saw you say a number and then all of a sudden your eyes went. I don't know where I was going with that number. Oh fuck. That's all right. Y'all are on what, episode 7060, right?
515.
Fuck.
We just started the 12th
Owen
season.
was episode 7.
Owen's
Aha.
episode 7.
March 15th
I like it when
of
I'm on
2020.
fun numbered episodes, like 7. It's a good number. 150 is a good
150.
number. I'm enjoying this so far.
Y'all have to be by far the longest running reptile podcast. It's not even close.
It's funny when people are like, "This is the longest running reptile podcast ever." They've been around for 2 years, and I'm like, so like, because they just clearly either don't listen to us or have never heard of us, and it's like that's adorable. So, yeah, it's been. We just started the 12th season, so
Your
See, y'all do seasons. I'm just like, let's just keep going. I'll figure it out. When we get
I
there.
demanded a break way back when I started this show in my early 20s.
Seasons sound great.
So so it's a nice way to wrap it up, and then we take the break around Christmas. And now, because we'll try to do 1 or 2 shows a week, and then kind of take a week off so that we can edit them and release them at certain times. I mean, it used to be in the beginning, it was like every Saturday at like 8:00. Here we go, and I'm like, I'm 20. Like, I need to I want to go out and do stuff. So yeah, it was. Then we bumped it to Tuesdays, and then it was like every Tuesday, and
now
so
you're
it's
old and
much
married.
easier. Now I'm old and married, and I just don't go anywhere anyway.
your 3-year anniversary will be on the 22nd, this
There
Sunday,
you go.
Oh shit,
since you put out your first episode.
that's right, because it was before Carpet
Aw.
Fest.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll do something special. I'll make you a cake.
Oh shit.
Oh, that was your prequel.
I see my snake. Okay, so just for anybody that's listening, I have a Calabar's boa that I hadn't eaten in forever, and we just gave it a pinky rat, and I see it moving around the pinky rat.
Yeah, it's heads by the pinky rat.
Oh, yeah.
It
Pinky
hasn't.
rat's kicking around. I think it may actually be biting the pinky rat. There it went.
What? Fuck yeah!
Finally
There you go.
eating 5 months later.
Damn it! I got to feed this thing live food.
All right.
Fuck me.
Actually, your first episode, that was your prequel episode. Your first episode was February 2nd with Joe.
Oh yeah. Outlasted his podcast.
Yeah.
When you get to it, you see others that fall by the wayside, and you're like, I'm still doing this. Weird. So, yep.
Yeah, that was forever ago. But I mean, that was before the Carpet Fest in what? I guess that was Southern
we
Carpet
go?
Fest. That was the one in
Southeast.
Florida, Southeast Carpet Fest. Yeah,
Southeast Carpet Fest.
because Texas is the South one. They don't have anymore.
We stayed
Now
at
that
an
I live in
awesome
Texas.
Airbnb in Florida.
They're working on. Apparently, there is
hear
grumblings and rumors
I've heard rumors.
of a Southern Carpet Fest that might be trying to get back up and going. We're doing the Northeast this year because I've threatened Eric with bodily harm if we don't get it off the ground. So
Have y'all
yeah,
decided where you're gonna have it?
Eric's house. That's why I had to
Oh.
threaten with bodily harm. So yeah,
But can it hold that? I mean, I know last time I saw pictures and it was an insane amount of people
where is that? What
around
state?
Philly.
So it's
Around
outside
Philly.
of Philadelphia. Yeah, Eric's house is better than my house for holding people. I live on a mountain.
So yours, I've heard yours is on a mountain. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have a backyard. I have a slope. So his at least has a flat backyard, and he's got the pool, so we can kind of do stuff with that. But the amount of people that have been showing up, it just keeps increasing. And we start asking, like, oh, can we push it off to a neutral site? And then everybody loses their minds. So we're like, okay, can't do that. So we've now resigned it that it's going to have to be at Eric's until, I move and get a larger house, and then I'll take it from there. So for right now, it's going to be at Eric's.
Yeah, it's eating it
Fuck yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't
Probably
even.
No, it's
Kill
not
it.
constricting it. It's got it
Not
about
even.
halfway down right now.
Not even squeezing. It's just what a weird fucking snake.
That's cruel.
God, those are. Yeah, I just. It's a weird snake. For anybody out there that has never,
Face looks so strange.
It looks
it's
like
his
its
tail.
ass.
It looks identical to its tail.
Yeah.
If anybody's never seen a Calabar's, so they're called Calabar's burrowing pythons, but they're not. They're related to boas, so we need to fix that and call them Calabar's burrowing boas. But they definitely fit my whole like
This
dirt
man's
snakes.
not dying.
What the rat will die eventually when it hits
Oh,
stomach
it's
acid.
not going to make it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You
yeah.
get down to stomach acid. That starts to
His
kill
days
it.
are numbered at today.
Yep, it's not going well.
Probably about
I don't
3.
know that
'cause
I've
that's
ever
about
seen a snake not constrict the food.
Oh yeah, feed hog nose.
Hog
Mhm.
noses are dumb. You've seen garter snakes eat fish.
But that's a fish. That's not this.
I have a hog nose
So?
that back when it would only eat live, would only grab them by the butt, and then they would scream the whole time.
My corn snake tends to do that.
So I would just have to throw it in there and leave the room because I couldn't hear all that.
I feel you on that one.
My wife, however, she didn't care.
She has no problem watching things
Right.
get eaten ass first.
Right.
Wait, what?
You're so bad.
Never mind. Okay, so we get into before I go any further, and I just wrote it all down because I realized that I played a fun game with Owen on episode 107,
Mm.
and I've played it one other time.
107 or episode 7?
Seven on
Seven.
seven.
I'm
Yep.
like,
On 7.
that's a big
On,
difference.
that's a huge
It's
difference.
season 1, episode 7. Is
Season
what it
1,
is.
episode-
Yeah.
And it was a great game called "Is it a ball python morph or is it not?"
Mm.
And
Not getting any better. So
I think Eric was actually on that one, and Eric did really well.
Mhm.
He chimed in and did really well. But so I've got some for you.
good.
I just wrote down a few, and I had to put marks next to them because I didn't actually know which ones I made up and which ones were real for a second there.
They might be real. We don't know. We've gotten so far.
Give
Yeah.
it 5 minutes. Someone
Yeah.
else will name it that.
Someone else will name it. Like we have to do this quickly, and somebody might come back later and be like, "Actually, that is a ball python morph." Damn it.
So these are strictly things that are currently. Look at the current availability list
Currently
on the
now,
Morph Market.
yeah.
We do have the shamalama ding dong.
Don't shame on a ding dong ball.
That's the problem. If I ever do anything that was going to be a brand new morph, I would name it ridiculous things,
Absolutely.
just because people would have to deal with it. Yeah,
You have to fucking say it now.
yeah.
Yep.
You now have to spell chitty chitty bang bang on like a thing.
Just supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That
Like,
has
it's
to now
just-
go on in
Could
your
you
deli
imagine
cup.
being Phil
What a-
looking at this, getting ready to add it, going, "What the fuck?"
Fucking, I'm gonna punch my keyboard, and that's the name. Okay, there we go.
Just ruining everybody's label makers because they're having to put out these ridiculous names. Oh fuck. Okay. Anyway, so here we go. I'm gonna give you some. Goblin.
Yes.
Do we get to vote?
Go ahead.
I go with yes. That's a morph.
What do you think, Robert?
Probably.
It's a morph. Y'all got that one.
All right.
Mordor.
Like it can't be like right, but somebody would
could
do
be.
that.
I'm going with no.
I'm gonna go with no though.
Let's go with yes.
It's yes. That's an actual one. The Mordor.
We should have known.
I'm assuming the same person
Alright.
in both of those.
So-
What
reptile nerd
does
came up with that.
it look like? Okay.
It needs
Yeah,
to look
just
like
like-
smoldering fire.
Well, exactly. If it doesn't look like some sort of smoldering hot
Let's
lava,
see.
if it's just like pink, I'm gonna be like, this is stupid. So
Just- hell, if it was pink, I'd be impressed just at this point with ball
I did get
pythons.
yelled at the last show because I think
It
I
is-
came down hard on the nanny morph, and somebody's like, "Well, what do you have against those?" I'm like, "Everything." So,
I
yeah.
remember that one, Nanny.
So
yeah.
from what I see on Morph Market, it is a light colored normal.
Yeah, it's a.
So why?
Right.
Just why?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is a pastel sapphire, possible Mordor.
Okay, so this Mordor.
So they
that
can't even
I'm
tell.
looking at,
They can't, nobody knows.
the edge of
Yeah,
it,
let's keep going.
the edge of it is like super dark.
No,
Oh,
you're just
here we
making
go.
shit up. You have no idea.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, it's-
It's just a normal. Sparkle.
Yes.
yeah.
Sure.
No,
That or it's a My Little
Almost
Pony,
said
either one.
no.
I made that one up.
Damn.
Twister.
Yes.
No.
No.
It is one. That is one.
Why? Though?
I think I've heard
mean,
that one before.
You have not. I don't.
We haven't heard that. No one
There's
has
no
said
way.
that one.
I don't have any friends that have. Well, no, take that. They probably do have stupid shit like that.
You said it is or it isn't?
It is.
Okay,
It
yeah,
is.
because there's one on.
Fantasy.
No.
I'm going no.
It is not one.
Okay.
Last one. Venus.
Venus.
No.
No.
Yeah. Let me say
It is not. I made that one up.
Damn it.
I made that one up. I made that one up. So
Because like it's like, all right, well, if it looks kind of like the pictures of Venus, it makes sense to me.
Let
But
me ask you:
that's the problem.
Did you look on Morph Market or on Wardable Pythons?
I didn't look on World War I looked on Morph
That's
Market.
the official. list.
Crap.
My bad.
There's
Oh,
several
Jesus.
lists now of what is
Yeah.
acceptable.
Yeah.
My bad. I looked on what was currently available. So look, the ones I made up could have been real because
We're
at this
about to
point, who the fuck knows? Every word in the dictionary may actually be a morph now.
You're getting there. It's give them some time.
They just start now. They're just starting at the beginning of the dictionary, going, "How we name this one?" It is now Albuquerque.
So there is one called Sparkler.
Yeah,
Ah,
there was one named Spark,
So there's Spark.
but there was no Sparkle.
And what was the other one that you said didn't exist?
Fantasy and Venus.
Fantasy is a no.
Sweet. I actually made that up. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead
Venus
and
is a
sell
no.
one.
you need a Venus to make a super Mordor.
Oh, stupid fucking ball pythons. Any chance to stab, make a stab at ball pythons, I'm all for.
Mm.
So I want to get into the question that you asked, that we asked on our Facebook page. And then we'll get into, I do want to talk about your collection, but
Gotcha.
the question was very interesting. And I questioned as, are breeders being priced out of rare species? And I said, if so, how should the hobby be handling this issue? And it kind of got
into a debate.
It got into a debate.
Oh.
Old
Good.
Dr. Travis Wyman got into a debate.
I know how to rile up Travis Wyman. Okay.
That Hello Friends is John Tyler Grant.
Hey, JD.
So I actually had a message from someone who said that she loves all the interesting topics that we post to discuss, and that it's really great, fun conversation, but that she isn't big on making public comments on things on Facebook and prefers to just kind of, respond anonymously, but we don't have that option.
Yeah.
So I have her response when we start going on to things.
Okay, well, I'll go into. So my dad also answered, but my dad, who is not a reptile person, looked at it from. And when the answer, I was like, "Oh man, I didn't think about it that way." He looked at it as, when we said rare, we meant like, fantasy, sparkle, Venus ball python, like rare, morph.
Hard to find.
Yeah, but rare in the sense that we as a hobby have gone, this ball python with a stripe here, super rare, like that. And that was not the direction I was going with this. I was definitely going rare species,
Right.
Because I don't give two shits about a rare morph in the sense of this.
In any species.
In any species,
You can make more rare morphs until they become not rare anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So going into it, so Travis, and I'll try and abridge it because if I tried to read what they wrote, it was a fucking novel between all of them. But what Travis was saying was that he was differentiating between breeder and keeper, which I think confused a lot of people because we also had April Linkfield, who we've had on. She breeds the house snakes, but she also breeds file snakes, which are not that commonly bred, which is kind of a rare species to breed. And so she took a little offense to it because I get where she's coming from. She breeds a rare species and she's a breeder. But the way Travis was doing it was, it kind of gave kind of a negative connotation that the breeder is the person chasing the dollar. So I think you have to look at it as two different types of breeders, I guess.
Oh, that's open.
Oh yeah, sorry. I had her open it because it's so loud on the podcast.
Oh.
And then we talked about it. And,
the whole world blew their mind.
yep.
Okay. Anyways, now I have a soda. But that was Travis's argument, was that the breeders are chasing the dollar, and he thinks that it needs to be kept with keepers who are taking the time to learn about the snake, understand the snake, the natural history, and do all this and work with them and this and that. And I get it. But the first thing that comes to my mind when you ask this question, Owen, is Boland's, right?
Yeah, I mean, Boland's is obviously the poster child, but it doesn't take that hard to look at other things. Timor pythons, lesser sundas, black-faced white lips, other animals that at one point, and I understand supply, demand, yada 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 yada. People got to make their money too. I get that. I have 3 Timor pythons. I have 2 boys and a girl. I would love to add another female. I will not pay $3,000 for a wild caught baby. And that's just where we're at right now. And it seems like I'm somebody who would be working at attempting to breed the species and make more captive born and bred babies. And now I'm potentially not increasing my collection when it comes to that animal because I'm not spending $3,000 on it. So that's where we're at. Like, by setting high price tags on animals that we would consider rare, when you have 15 of them that you're trying to sell, is that necessarily turning certain people off building a project?
Well, so that was April's argument, was she's trying to reproduce species that are not normally captive bred and build up the captive population. And the more we captive breed certain things, obviously it will become easier to look at ball pythons, right? People couldn't breed those things at one point and they were dying left and right. And now you can breed them in a shoebox in a closet with very little effort, right? We can get to that point with, file snakes for April, or with Timors. We had Ryan on last week. We had Ryan Young on last week. So we talked about breeding some of those harder to breed species. We talked about Timors and all, and I laughed at the fact that you go back 20 years, Timors were not $3,000.
No.
What's the other little dirt python? I can never think. Savus were dirt cheap.
Ring pythons, people were giving them away, but now they're just increasing. And first off, I want to be Ryan Young when I grow up. I mean, I've been and to have it to the point where somebody like him is like, hey, let's swap white lips. I'm like, oh yes, let's increase the like various bloodlines and things to have something that hatched in here get included with his shit. So happy about that. So
that's cool.
Well, and that was Travis talked about, the keepers should be swapping this back and forth, and I get that should, but at some point, if I'm captive breeding something that is not normally captive bred, I put time, effort, and money into it. We all try to at least break even in our hobby if we cannot make a little money, right? So I don't think making money off certain things is bad.
It isn't, but the other thing is that you're slapping a high price tag on wild caught animals.
Yes.
So all that does is just push the price of captive born and breds to a point where, how do you price that? How does Ryan price captive born and bred Timor pythons?
Yeah, well, that's on.
And who gets those?
At pretty much whatever he wants.
Exactly.
Well, that was what April said when her thing. She talked about because I know she said she breeds rare snakes, but we talked about file snakes, right? She's not going to sell a captive bred baby file snake at the same price that these import file snakes are going for.
No.
And she shouldn't. All captive born and bred should always demand a higher price because you've put in the work. And like you said before, it's an easier animal to establish. You have a better chance at getting F2 animals, and that's the way you push it. But I feel like if you keep increasing the wild caught animals, the captive born and breds are going to get pushed up at the same time. So then you're pretty much taking anybody out who maybe is a good breeder, has a couple of cages open, and has some money that they want to move on. Let's say like Keith McPeak. He's a guy I admire very well. He has a very small collection that he only keeps what he wants, and he focuses very much on them. But he is still a breeder. So now, is a Keith McPeak going to want to flip the money on some captive born and bred things when the price tag is up so high? No. I mean, why spend that money? Why devote those cages? I can get some joy out of just getting these over here. So it kind of like you're pushing some of the better breeders and keepers in the industry just kind of out to the sides. And I think it just hurts the projects.
Well, I mean, like I said, so if we go to the extreme, I think the Bolins is probably the extreme, but go to the extreme. I imagine that there's some dude sitting in his house who probably could get a Bolins to breed.
Yeah.
But he can't afford to try that. Like, he can't afford $15,000 to $20,000 for a pair of wild caught.
Right.
Or my bad, some of them are captive hatched, which is still kind of bullshit.
And that's the thing. So it's like you have somebody who maybe could bring fresh eyes, different stuff. I mean, we've had numerous times with some rare species where just somebody has a pair and they get lucky.
Wait. So captive hatched is where they took eggs from the wild and hatched them in captivity.
They'll import a gravid female.
Yeah.
She'll lay the eggs, and then they incubate the eggs. And they're like, we have babies, but you don't have babies you made. She did that in nature. You just happen to not fuck it up on the way here.
That's why certain times of year, those what are the Madagascar ground boas?
Yeah,
you see millions of babies on tables.
No, not them.
No, not them.
The Solomon Islands.
Solomon Island ground boas.
Yep.
Because all the females, when they're able to capture them,
and they drop shit tons,
and they have like 40, 50 babies that will never eat. and will all
Yeah,
die, but they sell them for $10 a
They're,
piece.
they're lizard eaters, and they know they can't get them to eat, so they're trying to like, pump them out the door before they die on them.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Just wanted to clarify that.
Yep.
Well, like, so our friend Amanda Reddy, they breed amazing low-cal panther chameleons.
Mm-hmm.
But she just said she can't compete with the Florida wild caught stuff because you can go to Florida and pick them off a tree.
Right. And then the pennies on the dollar. It's like, why is it that they import tons of baby Savannah monitors and Nile monitors every year because first off, to breed Savannah monitors and Nile monitors, you have to have a huge setup and you have to do all these things. And it takes so much stuff to do. It's just cheaper and easier just to bring in a whole bunch of babies every year. So like, nobody even tries that stuff.
Savannah's the one I always think of. I'm like, I remember I bought a Savannah one. It was a horrible fucking purchase. But I bought one for $20 at a show once. Yeah, like it was like a foot long, $20.
Mm-hmm.
It never liked me because of course it wouldn't like me. They picked it out of the wild and put it in a box and shipped it here. It's not gonna fucking like me.
Yep.
But just that's one of those things is it's not worth captive breeding though.
Yeah,
because the time and effort and space for one pair of Savannahs. And then to sell those babies off at hundreds of dollars when they can go buy them for $30.
And you're going to have to field all that stuff of why am I going to spend $200 on yours when I can get this one for $45? Mine was captive, born and bred. It doesn't have worms. I've been taking care of it since it was a baby and it will live. But no, sure. Yeah. Go spend $45. But, and that's the problem is you can beat your head against the wall or you can just kind of go off and do that. Because I mean, people have been asking why I haven't made my white lips available yet, and because I don't want to deal with it. Like it's like because so they're mine. I have them. So, but I will at some point. It's just I want to make sure they're ready to go because that they will have a larger price tag. It's not insane, but I feel weird about sending an animal out there that's above like $800 if I haven't like done everything to make sure it will survive when I send it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like that's very responsible of you also.
I know it's weird, right?
I have a friend.
I just shove a mouse tail down its neck and get it out.
I have a customer here who just bought a white lip maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago, and it died yesterday. He came in and it was just dead
because they probably bought a cheap import.
Nah, I don't think he did.
Really?
But no idea. Said he fed it the day before and it was fine. And
see, that's another problem with some of these species, because some of these species people get them in as imports and then they turn around and sell them and don't tell them anything about them being imports,
right? And
lead them on to believe that it's all captive bred. And like, there's just so many like sunbeam snakes that you look at that shows you're like, God, that snake is going to die.
It's the funny things that you always have those very few neither non-reptile people or just getting into reptile where they're like, I got this at a show. They said it was captive, born and bred. And I'm like, no, just no. What everything they told you is no. I don't know if anybody realizes it, but hatchling gold-faced white-lip have spots. And
really?
Yep, they have speckles. So people are like, I got this brand new baby white lip. I'm like, nope, that is a year old. Like, that is not a baby. So it's small. I'll give you that. But
like, it was a baby a year ago in the wild.
Yeah, it's not. No, it isn't. Like, it's those things that you kind of, as you are in the hobby for a while, you kind of get a peek behind the veil of exactly what is what you see and what's being told and what's kind of sold as a way to sell something to the general public and what's truth and what isn't. And you kind of start figuring out. And the unfortunate part is that a lot of times you figure this stuff out by making horrible decisions and, having these pitfalls. I mean, I've purchased wild caught animals that came to my house and it was like full of nematodes and all that other fun stuff. I've had animals that, my wife is a vet tech. It's not the reason I married her.
That's
it's one of them.
Yeah. So you married her for the tortoise. That was
I mean, I think he married me because I do most of the cooking and I clean everything. Does help.
There you go. It does. I mean, she has had to put she's done so many different things to help some of my sick animals that I never even thought was possible for care of reptiles. She's ground up oral medications into a powder and mixed it with fluid. And then that was an oral medication we gave to a snake because all the injectable medications that I would have totally gone to were found to be not effective against whatever bacteria was hurting this thing. And so I would have just kept pumping that thing full of Baytril till it died.
I was gonna say all you need is Baytril and Panicure, right?
Exactly. I would have gone back on all the crutches that we have as reptile keepers, and then when it died, been like, oh well, I couldn't have saved it. And she busts out some medication that's just for dogs, figures out the dosages, starts giving it to the snake. Within 2 weeks, it was fine. And I'm like, cool. So we know nothing. Great, cool. So
yeah, we do chalk a lot of dead reptile stuff too. Well, they just die.
Exactly. We think we know so much, but it's like we clearly don't. We're just not taking the next couple steps to improve ourselves. So yeah.
I bought one that I definitely know was an import. I bought a Viper boa, and it was the prettiest red orange Viper boa that I only got to eat one pinky one time, and I could never get it to eat. And had I had it now, I'm like, oh man, I'd have tried a million different
all these things. Yep.
But I just didn't think to do that. I'm like, it's not going to eat. It's not going to eat, and it dies. But I mean, because that's normally the path I take with if I breed. Like my Samboas have babies. If they don't eat, they die. That's the only option. I'm not. But then this is a wild caught thing that's already an adult. There's a million things I could have tried that probably would have boosted the appetite guy to eat. Right.
Yeah.
So,
you kind of learn the tips and tricks, and I'm starting to do more of the fun, weird stuff. Like I'm frog scenting for a bunch of the Madagascar hognose babies that I have right now. And then of course, rhino rats will take you down a wonderful flight of just hell.
What is frog scenting?
You take frog legs that you get at a store and you just thaw them out with the pinkies. And then you take those pinkies and you feed those pinkies to the Madagascar hognose. And then you take that whole frog leg and you throw it to a Chinese king rat and it eats it. And then, you fed everything, and the pinkies smell enough like frog that the mad hogs will actually eat and not just die. So
it's like a weird form of enrichment.
Well, it's not enrichment. So we as a hobby have said snakes eat fuzzy lab rats.
Oh.
European line mice, like white mice.
We have said that's what snakes like not
but
this kind of snake.
You've got snakes that eat fish,
but they
and
don't.
lizards and all kinds of stuff.
A ton of snakes don't eat them. Like it's so many snakes don't, especially when you get into colubrids outside of like rat snakes. So many other snakes eat snakes and frogs and lizards and birds, and they're like, no, you eat mice. This is your
gotcha.
And people tend to just lose their minds if the snake does not eat a white mouse. It's like they don't seem to think about it. I fed my pythons tilapia and trout because they'll eat it. Mm-hmm. So why not? So that's what you kind of learn those tips and tricks. But there's really nothing against wild caught animals. You just need to know what you're getting in for, which is kind of feel like if you're not preparing a customer for a wild caught animal, you're doing them a disservice. Like my adult female white lip, mom to the babies, was a wild caught animal, and I got her as an adult. But this is now, I've been keeping white lips for 10 years. I kind of know what I'm in for. I know what to expect. We did a long quarantine. We had a full vet workup on her, and we took it very slow. And I didn't try to breed her for about 1.5 years after I had her. So it's kind of like you need to know what you're expecting. But by trying to pass stuff off as a captive born and bred or captive hatched, you're just setting the customer up for failure. And I think that's just unfair.
Well, so it's like the Calabar's boa over there that I got. That's definitely wild caught. A friend of ours, she purchased a pair from somebody. Mm-hmm. One died. The male died, according to my friend. And then I got this one, which is female. And then I looked at it, and it's not. Most likely, both of them were male. This guy was just selling to wild caught Calabars as a pair.
It's easier to sell them as it's easier to put 1.1 done. Yeah,
exactly. And so I don't like doing wild caught stuff, but I've wanted a Calabar's boa for forever. And the only way I'm going to get one is do it this way. Like, yes. I know Travis is trying to breed them. And eventually I know Travis will succeed and he will have them. But I can't wait forever. So hopefully by the time he gets them, I can get one from him and I'll already have some as well. Like at some point you just have to bite the bullet, and it's the only way to do it.
As you get into fringe and rarer species, your the people you can go to gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and you end up relying a lot on yourself. So it's like why people are like, I so I almost cringe when people are like, my second snake, I've had a corn snake, and now I'm going to get an emerald tree boa. And it's like, like, okay. Like, I really wish you had gone some other steps there. Like,
the care is so similar. They both have scales.
Of course. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of different steps there. And of course, they're not getting a captive born and bred one. They're getting one from here. They're getting this, or they get the worst one is they get a neo green tree python. And it's like, okay, there's so many things. They're so unforgiving, and you'd hate to have that person have a bad interaction or a bad time, and they just lose all taste for reptiles. And it just it sucks sometimes. So,
well, and emeralds are one of those where like you can go to a show and find an adult emerald for cheap.
Yeah,
but then you got to realize that thing was picked off a tree in South America. Like that is not. And then you're gonna wonder why you go to this other person who has a table of emeralds, and they are 3 to 4 times the price or more, because those are captive. And that is the way we should really go with those snakes, so that we can keep breeding those things. And maybe we can breed the ever-loving hatred out of them so they won't try to kill us.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I've worked with emeralds.
That's true. Amazons are bred in captivity.
Oh God, yes. I think they're born and they choose violence. Like that's just how it goes. Yeah.
So yeah, so going back to the thing, I think that we definitely in certain situations have priced ourselves out of being able to try and proliferate a species, because I don't say we're after money, but the problem is we're also, as a world, people, you no longer can import super cheap stuff all the time from places, because the rest of the world has the internet too.
They figured out the price, everything. Yeah.
And
no longer buying the python for $2 and then taking it home and selling it for $4,000. Yeah.
They now know that this ball python that's got certain speckles on it is not the same as the other ones, and you will pay for it.
Right.
So, but I think also as a hobby, we've got to get some of these species that are rare into hands of people that can breed them, and then they get them into hands of people. And it doesn't mean they don't make money off of them, but we've got to find some way to make a network to try and get this going, right?
The problem is that it seems like certain animals are behind like gatekeepers. Like these are the only people that are bringing them in, and this is the price. It's like, well, hell. So now you either got to play ball or you go without, and that's just kind of how it goes. The issue is that if you have people, and we've seen it before, who are breeding a certain species, and then something happens to their pair, or that person leaves, and then it's like, well, now like herpetoculture is without this species until somebody else picks up the football and runs with it.
Yeah.
Or they start importing them again. Because the worst thing would be is if the people who are importing them figure out that it's not even worth importing them anymore. If they turn off that spigot, then we're only relying on what we have here as breeding animals in people's collections. And then again, if somebody has already left, we have to wait for somebody to rebuild the entire projects from the ground up.
Well, and so go back to certain pythons. So Timors, Maclots, and Savus, right?
Yep.
Those were not expensive snakes 20 years ago. But then ball pythons took off, and so people needed that cage space for ball pythons. And then when people didn't want ball pythons, but they wanted another python species, I am going to say there was a certain podcast out there that really pushed carpets.
Yeah, I should really close my goddamn mouth half the time, because I'm like, oh, why is everyone after Maclots pythons? It's like, because you've been banging that drum for 12 freaking years that they're so cool. It's like, shit.
So I think one problem is we phased out Maclots and Savus and Timors because people went to ball pythons and then carpets, and they're like, oh wait, there's these things that are kind of like carpets but not carpets, and honestly on your podcast, a lot of people know about some of those species because you talk about them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Which is cool though.
Except for when he wants to buy them.
Exactly. I'm hoisted on my own petard here. Like I get excited about the animal, and I'm like, I can't find any black-faced white lips. It's like, well, if you just shut your damn mouth about them, maybe you could actually find some. Of course, I say this, and I have 6 Maclots pythons right now because I finally got tired of not being able to produce Maclots pythons over something would just keep happening. My first female got egg bound. My second female had cancer. My third female turned out to be a male. My fourth female had cancer. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I just bought every Maclots python I could get my hands on. And then now I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, I have 6 of them. That was a little overboard. That's a lot.
I feel that way about the rubber boas at our house.
I only have 4.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
For me, it's Dumeral's boas at my house.
Dumeral's boas at your house is ridiculous. Yeah. Y'all have 8. And y'all bought them all as adults.
Yeah,
it's a big ask. Some of my Macs are small, so I have time to
I mean, the
you know,
rubber
ruined
boas
my
are
life.
tiny. I'll give them that.
There's 7 Mac lots on Morph Market right now.
How much are they going for? $700, $600.
400
Oh,
to
that's not bad.
600.
That's
Yep.
600. That's so good. Yeah.
Yep.
Most of them are 470.
Which is not what 20 years ago you could have got them in a mall for 150.
Well, that's the thing is, like 7 years ago, they would have handed you a Bismarck ring python as you were walking into a show. It's like, here's your ticket, here's your ring python, go away. Now it's like $800. Like it's
Well, because they'll be like,
That's how
I
I
bought
feel
this
about
thing when it was,
Mexican bucking
it's like, I
snake.
bought this thing when it was pretty. Now it's ugly. You take it now.
that's
But
the thing. I have 2 ring pythons. One is really nice, but she's like a dark kind of red. She's not orange. And then the other one's ugly as sin, but is just evil, and I love her. So it's like, and I got her as an adult, and she's just rage filled. And I'm like, so I think someone's going to take a trip to Ryan's house. Like, I think I'm going to box you up and mail you there. So,
See,
Jason Miloradovich says he's got a dozen or so rubbers.
Wow.
there you go.
if you leave it at rubbers, it just sounds wrong. He's married. He didn't have to use those. But
I knew you were gonna go there.
It set itself up so nicely. It's like a softball pitch.
I intentionally didn't say
It was,
rubber boa
it was right there. It was just
because
like,
I know my
had to.
That's
adult child
low-hanging
friend
fruit.
over here.
Yeah.
That's why whenever I hear kids at school tell stupid jokes, I'm like, shut the fuck up. I know exactly what you're talking about because I'd have made the same joke.
Right, exactly. But I can't.
But I can't because I'm here with you, dummy.
Yeah, I have a few I split up 2 boys on Friday, and I was like, I'm not stupid. I know exactly what you're doing and what you're trying to be slick about. You think I'm playing with you right now? Move, separate.
I always
They look
remind
at
my
me like
students.
they're deer in the headlights.
I always remind my students that I am
Girls.
way smarter than them. And sometimes I emphasize it and just like, I'm so much smarter than you. I need you to understand that.
You're such an asshole.
The truth hurts sometimes. Anyways, so let's talk about your collection because
All right.
Did we finish this post?
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
we couldn't read that the novel they wrote. I broke it down. I
Okay.
gave the cliff notes.
And then there's I did make a post.
Oh, you wanted to you wanted to read your person's.
Well, I mean, she didn't even expect me to post it. She was like,
No,
she
go ahead
just
and read
wanted
it.
to include it in the
She
conversation.
may be listening.
Yeah.
We have
She
a
does.
listener. Don't lose her.
Yeah.
She does. She said she really enjoys everything that you post. Basically, it was all very similar to what you said. She agreed that breeders are being priced out of rare species, but how the hobby should be handling it could be an easy solution, which is complicated by like kind of a pyramid scheme mindset that some hobbyists have.
Mhm.
Ideally, rare species should be circulated within the community of dedicated enthusiasts so that they can be established and studied before becoming more available to the general public, which are kind of all things that you guys have said.
Yeah.
I know I was very quiet while you were both very enthusiastically speaking, but I was listening. It's something that she's seen with rare dog or cat breeds. So it really shouldn't be something that's super far-fetched for the reptile community. But the problem often, or more often than not, is that a lot of these uncommon species are either sold to the highest bidder when they're captive born, hatched, born and bred. And then the buyers may not be the most dedicated or truly passionate individual.
Yeah, just the one that had the money.
Correct.
Right. Or the clout of having a bowling eye.
Yeah, a bowling.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
This is also somewhat of a tendency for other keepers to gatekeep their passion projects.
Like all of somebody's white lip pythons.
I have 9 baby white lips, and two so far are flagged to be made available when it starts warming up. Out of
That's so
9, the other ones, I will admit, I am trading to people who have white lips, or they have animals I want. So and they have the know without, like, we're going to be swapping this or trading that. So but then after that, I may still make some more available. For right now, only 2 out of 9.
But the great thing
Well,
is,
and here's my thing. Yes, obviously it is a lot harder to get your hands on a white lip than it is a rainbow boa. But that last
have those
litter of
too.
rainbow boas that you had, you were like, I'm keeping the whole litter simply because of who they came from.
yeah. And then they
So,
all
to
got
me-
sick and they look like shit, but they're not dying, and I have no idea what's wrong with them.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with like choosing to keep a large portion of babies that you produce,
No,
whether they're very common or not very common.
I mean,
because in 2 or 3 more breeding seasons, you may
Owen's
get to the
podcast partner made a whole thing of that.
It's called birking it. You keep the entire clutch, and then when people beg you, you can eventually let one go.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, he's kept 2 whole clutches of one project where the IJs turn black when they get older.
The poison ivy or
the poison ivy babies. He's kept
all
two clutches of babies. He has kept back, and this year he's actually has a chance to breed the babies to each other. And like I think I'm the only one who's consistently seen these things over the years as they've like progressed, and IJs do nothing for me. So
you can't breed them.
I can't right now. They just don't do it. So every time I see them, I'm like, these things are awesome. And that's me saying this. And also like all of this is wasted on me. You should show these to people. Like it's so
I would say. So we had someone, I think it was last week, that was talking about how the reason that he keeps the babies, and I cannot tell you what kind of snake it was, but he keeps the babies because
we were talking to Ryan last week.
Because they look so it was 2 weeks ago.
It wasn't Ryan.
That would have been Brittany.
It wasn't the McVeighs.
No, different Ryan. We're talking Ryan Young.
Okay, yes, him.
There's a lot of Ryans in the hobby.
He keeps something because they look so different when they're an adult. So a lot of times he won't sell it until it's an adult. Because he wants to know what it looks like.
Well, some of these like they do carpets. Carpets are one of those things where you don't know what it looks like until it's like a year and a half, 2 years old.
I've had holdbacks that I'm like, you were gonna be great, you were gonna be my set thing, and then the following year something else pops up, and it like puts that one that I was all gung-ho about a year ago to shame. And it's like, well, sorry, bye. Like it's just that's something you have to be fluid with that kind of stuff, especially with carpets.
Yeah.
But
well, and I think the way Owen was talking about doing his white lips is one of the ways to fix around this whole rare species issue we're having. If you can trade with other people who can also breed that. And so they're going to produce more babies. And then they're going to eventually we can get to a point where there's a sustainable captive bred population of that species. And we don't have to pay $800 for a snake. That's probably not, I don't want to say it's not worth $800. I know we're putting numbers on stuff and it's ridiculous, but sometimes these prices are like $10,000 for a snake is fucking ridiculous.
So that's
I can buy a car or I can get a snake. Like this is ridiculous. So, and when it comes down to like one of my friends who is getting a gold white lip, she has produced black face white lip. Well, here we are. I need a black face white lip. You need a gold face white lip. Swap. I know you can do it because you've done it. So, and that just kind of helps.
That's actually the very last line in what she sent me. It said, even amongst the keepers who want to swap bloodlines, it does seem like a common occurrence for other keepers is to turn a blind eye to the inquiry unless there's a high price tag attached. And so it seems like she really feels like it's like you just said, if you've got what I want and I've got what you want, let's make a trade and everybody's happy. And
if you sit down and you break it down, are these animals equal in price on the market? No, but why not just swap it?
And they accomplish a goal that you're trying to And look, there's people I know in this hobby who will trade you this or give you this or do the money is not the issue for them. And that's great. And the money is not the issue for I breed fucking sand boas. The money is not the issue for me. Okay, it's not. They're fucking cheap. I know they are.
No, I don't have an airplane hangar full of gray bins going like there's a snake in there. You can't see it, but it's in there.
The only rule is that they have to pay for their own food.
That's what I'm working on.
That's my only rule.
Hopefully Conroe, I can sell anybody. Quick shout out. Anybody going to Conroe? If you need an Annery sand boa, I'm going to have 10 babies. Feel free to come buy one.
Or all.
I need to buy rats.
That's the best feeling in the world when you're at a show and you're like, I bought my rats and I still kept money in my pocket for my snake sales. Like I'm gonna stop at Burger King on my way home. Like it is.
I can afford the value menu.
Normally, what he'll do is take that extra money and buy something else, though, which is fine. That's always from day one. I have always said you do not need to take snake money and put it into the household budget. That is your money. That needs to buy your rats.
So most of my snakes are bought with snake
and
money.
then that needs to buy whatever else like
With
that.
the
needs to
exception of
buy
the two
your
big,
stuff.
large boas downstairs that I need for breed, so I can give you back the money.
I was gonna say those I'm waiting on.
Those two
Because
boas are not
Frank and
snake
Boa
money.
didn't make it.
My wife and I have the same kind of thing, but then she does. She's torturous and evil. So she's like, you can't buy any of this. You have to, like, with your snake money, you can totally do it. Just leave the house money thing. And she's like, we don't have diamond pythons. I'm like, no, we don't have diamond pythons. Why don't we have diamond pythons?
Because of the price tag.
Don't do this to me. Like, I don't like what are you doing? This is like cooking a drug and being like, you want this? Like,
That's
no,
hilarious.
that is terrible.
That's
What's
another one
wrong with you.
That's another one that is like, they were common enough at one point for at least a lot of people to have one, because there were so many fucking diamond jungles.
Diamond jungle somethings, yeah.
Because I had a diamond jungle at one point. But now you don't see diamonds, and I'm like, that's crazy. Because one, they're a super hardy of all like the carpet like pythons, they're like kind of like a Brettles. They're super hardy.
Yep.
They're, if you want a black and yellow snake, they're supposed to be black and yellow.
Yep.
So unlike the jungle carpets that
we made black and yellow, yeah, it's. I feel like almost there's certain number of diamond breeders, but then not a lot of people are really spending the time to, because it's so, breeding them is so much different than normal carpets. You would have to dedicate something, or like a tank or a different part of your house or a different room, or only do diamonds, or diamond like pythons. So people don't do it. But I think what would be awesome is if you set up a really cool tank or a big enclosure in your living room and a couple diamond pythons. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty cheap when it comes to snakes. I got my Mexican black king snake. So as far as I'm concerned,
that I feed.
I'm pretty. Yeah, you take care
but they
of my
went
animals.
up in price. They were $40, and then they were $400.
We didn't buy them then.
We got married. They were $50 or less, and I begged.
Why was I going to buy this $50 snake?
Yeah, I don't
4
care.
years.
Yeah. I
have friends who love me, and they gave me one. So I got that. I love my corn snake. She's one of like my favorite. The one in my classroom. She's one.
That was also my corn snake.
The zoo gave it to us because someone brought it to the zoo, and the zoo didn't need it for education.
That was my corn snake.
I know, and she's awesome.
Okay.
So like as far as snakes go, I can't even think of anything else that I would like.
Well, then you're not thinking hard enough. I can think of right now.
God.
I want a red-eyed croc skink. That's like the only other animal that
we can
Robert's
get you that.
shaking his head no.
You do, but you got to have everything set up.
And that's just
it. You do, but you don't.
Yeah, I haven't.
It's not an easy setup,
and it's not, and so that's why I don't have one yet. But that's like the only other thing really on my list that I'm like, ooh, I want. I mean, of course, I always want more cherry head tortoises, but
yeah, I think that's the direction I'll end up going, is a bunch of fucking tortoises.
I love them.
Owen has one, and Owen loves it.
I have one tortoise.
What do you have?
I have a sulcata. Well, no, I'm sorry. My wife forced a sulcata on me. We have
then his wife moved in and brought it from Florida there. And
it was just, I mean.
Oh, up there it's tricky.
Yeah, we have
you've winter.
We have several. We have a spot in the basement that could house several large snake cages that is dedicated to this tortoise for his pen.
There is no animosity in your voice.
No. There's no. I don't feel. I'm not bitter. But I'm not looking at that space going like, "There's my Pop One Python area right there." Like that's, I could set up tons of right there. But no, we have Mort. And then
Mort.
I love it.
During the summer months, he spends outside in
the
yard. Yep, out on the hillside.
Does he climb the hillside? Like
he has his patrol. He has his little areas, and he will march himself up and down the hill. Which is good because then he gets active and stuff like that. The problem is we're doing well because he's growing, and it's like, God damn it, stop! Like just
they don't.
It's. I keep telling her, I'm like, do you have any pancake tortoises we could have in this pen right now? I could have a herd of pancake tortoises.
That would be fucking awesome.
I didn't like, what would be great? Let's get some Gila monsters, because then when Mort's outside, the Gila monsters can. She's like, I don't trust you around venomous reptiles. I'm like, probably a good idea.
But it's only kind of venomous.
It's only kind of venomous. So
Isn't that what you held? No.
Yes.
Yes.
It's what I will have at some point.
That is probably one of the happiest photographs that
Gila
I have
monsters
of you.
are
Oh my God.
awesome.
Of you
And the
holding that animal.
problem is
Which one,
that-
Jones?
Yes.
Yeah, because reptile got like
it's one of my
if you
favorite
grew up-
pictures of James.
if you grew up as a reptile person, like grew up watching dinosaurs
Mhm.
and like Gila monsters fit that you grew up seeing that kind of stuff. And so when you're an adult, you're like, I want that stuff now.
Red-eyed croc skinks look like little dragons. That's why I want one. I'm just gonna be honest.
And the problem is like, so Eric Kohler is a friend of mine, and he's another snake breeder up here in the Pittsburgh area. So he does the shows down here, and he has Gila monsters. So every year he's got baby Gila monsters, and every year I'm like, oh God, I just want to like I know he would just be like, here you go.
You also live in a part of the country where you can own any fucking reptile you want to.
I live in Pennsylvania, baby. I can walk down the street and get me a cobra tomorrow. Like it's
we can do it Texas too.
Yeah, it's ridiculous up there. I want to go to
show that has
Hamburg.
Hamburg.
I want to go there once just to see the clusterfuck that is Hamburg.
Yeah, well, you gotta go when there's a good one, because sometimes it's like that's the problem, is like it's very low key and kind of business as usual, which could be shocking to the normies. But then like there's usually one show a year where it's like, and that's a black mamba in a sweater box, or it's like, and that's a Nile crocodile over there, or
the starter pack is a retic and a alligator and a cobra.
A retic, a croc, and some sort of venomous. Yep, that's the I live in the sticks in Pennsylvania and I'm 16 starter pack is I'm going to go in, I'm going to get myself a retic, a crocodilian of some kind, and something venomous when nobody
put it on
asks.
YouTube.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'll start my YouTube empire.
And then poor Darren lives next door in New Jersey and can't own a fucking thing.
Not a damn thing. That's like, I've had to do health certificates for people who have bought animals and they live in New Jersey, because you have to do vet certs, you have to do this, and that's for the people who actually do it the right way. Other people just don't care. So, but yeah, New Jersey is lockdown central.
Don't you dare get a corn snake, Darren. They will come after you.
Mm-hmm.
They better have red
eye
eyes.
color.
Better have red fucking eyes.
Oh, that's one of those states, huh?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Amanda Reddy and her pied alligator.
What?
You both.
I mean, she wants a pot. She
That's
doesn't have
what
one.
she wants.
One.
She's
That's her.
yeah. Her and James both want.
Oh, there's Eric. Yeah,
I'm starting a YouTube empire. Where have you been? God.
So, okay, I can keep on going. Let's get back to your collection, because I talked to you before we got on air that I find something funny about your collection.
Yes.
And we've anybody that has a podcast has talked about this whole thing. When someone first gets into reptiles, there's the Noah's Ark syndrome, where like I want one or two of everything, and everyone that's really like we've done it, and then you finally realize, okay, I like that you either get out of the hobby, which happens probably 90% of the
burn
time,
out quickly and get out. Yeah.
Or the 10% go, okay, I don't actually like all of those things, but I like this one thing, and I'm going to focus. And you did that. You were like, all right, I like carpets. I'm gonna do carpets. And then you were like, you know what? No, let's go back to the fucked up shit. I want everything again. And that's where you're at now. Every time I listen to an episode, you're like,
I got this.
Something new that I'm like, what the fuck? It's not carpets anymore.
Yeah. So I almost did kind of like a reversals, because when I started, I had Cal Kings and I had carpet pythons, coastals. That was it. It's all I wanted. And then I kind of exploded in carpet python. So I went nuts in carpet python, and I kept getting all the different types of Morelia. So I had my Noah's Ark syndrome, but it was very compacted to just Morelia. And then I kind of scaled it back to just kind of coastals and a couple other little things. But it started with people just kind of suggesting, the show was definitely something that kind of dragged you in, because if you sit there for an hour talking to somebody whose passion is insert animal here, it bleeds into your brain where you're like, I could do Argentine boas. Like I could, how hard could I do that? Like, you know, it's great.
That's Keith's fault, isn't it?
Those are so bad on my list right now. Like it is, but like sand boas, I'm like, what is it? Mike Curtin just got some sand boas, and he's like, these things are awesome. I'm like, you're not allowed to talk about me to these things. Like, I don't want to see them. We're not allowed to talk about it. Like, shut up. I don't want to, like, because that I'll start thinking. So I kind of started branching out, and it started with, white lips, couple other different. It started really when Eric gave me a Macklot's python.
Way to go, Eric.
Yeah, he did it. So he's like, here's a Macklot's python. And I'm like,
pusher, man.
What the hell is this? And of course, that just tumbled into Liasis, where I'm like, okay, I need Max, I need Waters, I need Olives, I need Savus.
Wait, hold on. I need to rewind real quick.
Yep.
You pronounced it correctly. You said water.
Some of us on the podcast who will not be named are from Philly. Others are from outside of Philly where we had better schools and they taught us English.
Every time I'm listening, I hear water. I'm
Water.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but you have to I have to know the language. When you venture into the city, you have to know water and with whiz, without whiz. So
I do know that one too.
Yep. But yeah, it was the so he gave me the Macross Python and then that glitch just tumbled into everything. And then now I think I have 31 different species.
Fuck.
Yeah. And
That's crazy.
That's between pythons, boas.
How many different species do you have?
I'm not doing math right now. I'm not the one on the trial here. Calm down. We're talking about Owen.
I refuse to answer such questions.
I mean, I couldn't tell you what the hell's in that room, so I'm not the right person to ask.
Well, pick another room because there's something in every room at this point.
There is.
But you also went from pythons to you know what? I want things that shit more.
Yeah, I want things that shit more. I want things that have rear fangs. I want things that make me a little nervous when I touch them. So it was. I mean, I always had Cal Kings. That was always something I've had.
You've bred corns for a while.
Corns and Cal Kings were always the things because those are the ones that I was actually able to breed in college, and I would pass them off as school projects, and they'd let me do it because they've never hatched snakes in the animal lab before, and it's like, hey, go whole little thing, wrote a project. Hey, I'm like, cool, all these king snakes are going to come with me now. So I did that in college, but you kind of branch out a little bit more. I've had bull snakes, I've had pine snakes, and you kind of just keep going. But the thing is that when I first got into it, I was told that Asian colubrids, mandarin rat snakes, are the most gorgeous things out there. But they're like, oh no, you have to put them in a refrigerator, and oh man, if you look at them cross-eyed, they explode. And it's I don't want that. I can't do that. I'm a grunty python guy. I can't do that. So getting more and more into Asian colubrids and other stuff that it's different from a python where you don't necessarily have to heat it up. It's more along the lines of you have to cool it down. Was kind of scary at first, but once that ball started rolling, it was the blue beauty snakes, it was the Chinese king rats, it was the rhino rat snakes, it was mandarin rat snakes.
Do you have Crebos?
I do have Crebos.
I remember Crebos.
I do have I have unicolor Crebos. They're annoying me. It's been 3 years, and it's been 2 years of slug clutches, and then this year I am being so mean to them. I dropped them so low. I'm like, you're breeding or you're out of here. I'm done with this. I got the king rats that are still they don't stop eating or growing.
Crebos are cool. It's got to be cool to have a snake that'll eat fucking anything.
I'd love it because it's food time for the collection is a bunch of buckets of rats and there's a bunch of buckets of other things and stuff like that. So when I'm feeding the large colubrids, and it's the false water cobra, the Vietnamese blue beauties, the Chinese king rats, the Crebos, it's literally a bowl of food because people are you have to feed them more as colubrids or more often. I don't really feed them more often. I just give them more of a thing. So they have a bowl that has a rat, some frog legs, some chicken necks,
just go to the Asian market.
Chicks. It's just everything I can put in there, pile it up, put it in their cage, and they eat it all. Same thing with the Madagascar hognose too. So they just kind of eat it all, and we're good.
Our dog is at the gate at the podcast room because she's obsessed with Robert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been being stared at by a cat over here, but
she's been in her crate because she's getting ballsy and likes to jump on the counter to try to get food. So now whenever food is on the counter, she goes up. And so she was up when he got here. So she didn't get all of her love and attention. And
yeah, but this is unfortunately I'm a husky owner, so I understand the trials and
I think she's a husky sometimes, the way that she talks to us.
He's my Zero is a husky Catahoula.
Oh,
so. Nice. No, not nice. No, that animal has shaved years off my life. So
do you still have, you still have retics?
I have one retic.
That's the one that broke out?
No, I got rid of those things. They sucked.
Didn't it happen twice to you, didn't it?
It's happened multiple times. And it's my own damn fault because I built the cages and I used the glass was either too thin or there was enough wiggle room between the center support and the glass that if a snake got in there, it was like, well, if I keep going, and then the glass would just explode out. And the snake would be like, cool, I'm out now. And then there's glass everywhere. So it's basically like I call it extreme herping, where now you have to find the retic, but then also there's glass everywhere. So and I never wear shoes when I'm around in my house. So it's like I said, it's more of an extreme thing. But I had a pied retic and a het pied retic, and they were the first ones to figure it out. And then recently my black-faced white lip figured it out. So yeah, we're replacing those cages, those doors. So. Like, yeah, we're redoing that. So,
that should definitely be moved to the top of the priority list. It sounds like
we'll get there.
If they get out, they're still in the house. He's not losing the snakes.
Like, the black-faced white lip was gone for a day, and I was not happy. So, but we recovered her. So
these are relatively decent sized snakes, though, right? Or are those small?
No,
I know what a retic is. I don't know what the rest of the stuff
black lips are what, 7-8 foot full grown?
I'm not 100% convinced on that one because I'm not. I got my female gold's only like 4 or 5 foot long. Like she's not a big animal.
Are they like colubrid size?
No, they're python.
No, they're python.
So like
they're not Burmese pythons, but they're like carpet python.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Fine.
But then you won't get you some popwins and you can end up like the picture that Ryan posted.
Exactly. Like I'm like, oh man, I could do popwins, and then Ryan posted that photo. I'm like, no, never, no, not doing it. So
what was the photo?
He put his popwins together and he posted a photo that they got into a fight and like it ripped like flesh off. You could see like the white meat.
Oh
yeah,
like in multiple spots. Like,
and these are really expensive, right?
I mean, they're mostly imports,
right?
And most of them are female. It's hard to find a boy. But the problem is that you've spent this time, you've raised up these animals, and even if they're both, I've heard you want to try to get them equal size so that nobody hurts each other. Gotcha. But then I had somebody last year, a friend of a friend, who had 2 10-footers, and the female still killed and ate the male. And then the issue with that is that now you have a 10-foot snake that has swallowed itself, like a 10-foot snake. So 9 times out of 10, the female dies, and then you've lost both of them. So that is terrifying.
That's rough.
I've had friends who've had that happen with Cali Kings, and it terrifies me. And then you add like python to it. No thanks.
This is why you don't want to breed certain things.
Well, yeah, it's why this is why like I really want a northern blue-tongue skink, but I will never fucking breed blue-tongue skinks because they can just rip legs off.
Oh yeah, it's horrible.
I know people that have had it happen a lot with hognose as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that put a freaking $3,000 male in with a $3,000 female and come back, and now there's a $3,000 female that's not worth $6,000.
Yeah,
even though they're combined,
they can't just increase in price because now there's 2 of them in one.
Yeah. Right now it's worth $6,000.
Well, that's why
3 days later it's not.
That's how I got my adult female ring python. Is she killed and ate 2 of the males she was with. And Jesus. The dude who had her was so fed up, he just sold her. And I'm like, okay. So,
see, that's my fear of like any of the Australian python. Like carpets are not that big of a concern, but like you get like blackheads, I would worry, or like some of the liasis. That I start to worry because like I know that historically they have been known to eat, cannibalize each other.
I mean, and even then, like I have 4 olive pythons, and that's a 10-foot python. You know. Even if it was an accidental strike, that's a big animal to try to get off of another big animal
who's also pissed off, right?
Who's also real mad at the fact that it just got bit. Like it can be scary. I mean, my retic, thank God she's just so morph inbred that she's as dumb as a hammer.
You have a dwarf from Garrett, right?
I have a dwarf from Matt Minatola.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those. Matt's like, "Do you want this?" I'm like, "Yeah, right." And like she was like the size of my forearm when I got her. And I'm like, "Look at this cute little thing." And now I'm like, I have to feed it bunnies and chicken, and I'm like, this thing is getting pretty big. Like, I don't know what to do here. Where's the door?
Matt's like, take this. I need to make more room for blood python.
Speaking of feeding things,
What?
It's gone.
Is it Coal Black Exotics?
Yes.
Is that's
yes, Bill.
Thank you. I couldn't think of his name. I was like, well, so he had a little toboggan thing on in his video.
It didn't look like him.
And it did not look like him because I'm like, this guy looks familiar. Why do I know this?
I didn't
guy?
watch the video. But
why is this popping up on my
I know his
Facebook
video was a
newsfeed?
giant rabbit in the middle of a room with a
It
retic.
was. So it was
Or
a
berm.
very nicely done video that was super boring and how you should feed.
Which is how
stuff.
feeding should be.
And that's exactly what all the comments were. But it was just funny because I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. I was like, wow, who's this super attractive guy feeding the snake? Didn't know who it was. Then I realized it was Bill. And then I felt a little weird for having that thought about Bill. And then I was like,
Thanks for explaining that to me.
I know. I felt strange.
It's all right. He's a ginger. I'm not
can't
worried.
help it. Yeah. Anyways.
They're not real people. He's a ginger.
No. They don't have
One
souls.
of my favorite people.
I say feeding should be boring, but there are certain snakes you feed that no matter how boring you want it to be, it's not.
I did get a little nervous though, because at one point when he opened, so the rabbit was on the floor, and when he opened the glass, I don't even know what kind of snake it was, but the snake was it was obviously fucking huge because the rabbit was gigantic.
It was a big rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
For a second there, I thought someone had a dead dog on the floor. And
I did too.
Why are you filming this? Okay,
That's what I thought it was. I was like, what kind of animal are we fixing to dissect this on Facebook? But anyways, it got taken off of Twitter or removed from TikTok because of the violence standards.
China didn't like the.
Yes. I don't have a TikTok or Twitter, so it doesn't matter to me.
I can see Twitter because it's owned by Facebook, and Facebook gets offended
Twitter's
by the
not
wind
owned
blowing.
by Facebook.
Mhm.
By Elon Musk.
Not Twitter. I'm thinking Instagram.
Yeah,
that's right.
There are those animals that no matter what you're doing and how calm you are. I have a yearling black-faced wetlet from Lisa. And that thing is a shade from hell that will never, I mean, I almost don't want it to get any bigger because then it's going to start being real interesting around here. So, but she eats everything in sight. I'm like, okay, crap. Like and that she's just on point all the time, ready to just kill anything. And you almost don't want that. You want it to be relaxed because now I'm worried. Like if I ever get a boy in there with her, what is she going to do to him? So
my box turtle was today. She was freaking spastic.
Did you just compare your box turtle to his pissed off white lip?
Yes.
She was very
aggressive.
jump.
They're a little different.
She was very aggressive. And
are you afraid you're going to get bit by your box turtle?
Chasing her crickets today.
If you get attacked by your box turtle, it's your fault.
Listen, I've seen a box turtle rip out somebody's jugular. It's gruesome.
I mean,
jumped right up on there.
Have you ever watched them eat hornworms? It is very, very, very graphic.
Ends up being like the rabbit from Monty Python.
Third graders freak out.
Teeth.
Okay.
Look at the bones.
Oh, yeah. No, so I've got my adult Louisiana pine. My adult Louisiana pine is great. You take him out, he's wonderful. But if there's food around, he will fucking attack anything that moves. I've gone to feed him before, and he'll swipe and knock it out of the tongs, and he'll drop, and then I have to freeze. Because if I move, he's coming after me. Because he's in a mode of, if it moves, I'm biting it.
Yep.
But like, if it's not feeding time, I can just reach in there, take him out. He's great.
So my wife got these, the snake tongs, the grab ones with the handles, the ones that you're supposed to use for grabbing snakes, but nobody ever uses them for that. They use them for feeding
all the time.
She got ones like they're 6 feet long, and I'm like, these things are ridiculous. Like, I don't need this long of a thing. Thank God she got that shit, because now I'm around the corner, like leaning into the room with this rabbit, like just kind of or rat, kind of like doing this. For my one rough scale python hates my guts, hates me, but if I just kind of feed her from like outside the room a little bit, she'll eat rap, and that's whatever. And then I'll just wait for her to finish and then close her up. But sometimes you just got to remove yourself from the situation.
You had a snake that would only eat if you turn the lights off.
I don't remember which one.
Ozzy
happens.
He would do that.
The rainbow boa.
Or he would not strike stuff. You just have to put it in there and leave and walk away
and turn the light off.
Yeah. Some snakes are like that. Some snake, in some snakes, they're like, it's annoying. I was feeding baby rainbows the other night, and I was wiggling around in front of it. Didn't want to take it. It's like, fuck. So I laid it down, and I forgot. The next morning, I came in, I was like, shit. I was like, it's only been a few hours. I was like, let's try again. Wiggled around, took it right away. I was like, why couldn't you do this last night? If I can just let it sit here. But yeah, feeding's also interesting when you walk in the next day after feeding everything and realize that your Herpstat 6 that runs all your racks isn't on. And I temp gunned all my racks and they were like 69 degrees. I was like, fuck.
Well, yeah, I had like heart and stomach moment when you said that, because I know how expensive the 6 is. And I think don't have that in the budget right now.
The plug just wiggled its way just enough loose.
But it's one of those things where out of anything, I'd rather it go down than up.
Yes.
You know, down can handle. When I come in and each cage is 159 degrees or something like that, then
that'd be scary.
Then it's over. Then now you're just on damage control to see who made it. So, but yeah, I would much rather go. That's why I like shipping when it's cool outside. Love it. Fine. People are like, can you ship in August? I'm like, I don't know. I'll have to check. Like,
I know I can't. I live in the South.
No.
I cannot ship in August.
You can't.
No, I was funny. I plugged it back in. We left for the day, came home, and every snake's in the back of the tub. Every single one, like, oh wait, we have heat now.
Yep. They can do much better with cold than you can with heat. You can always you always fix heat. Like, yeah.
So one thing I wanted to talk about, we didn't talk about earlier, but that reminded me. I found my thermostat wasn't working the day that we went to the learning zoo. So Monday, was it yesterday? Oh shit, it was yesterday. We had a 3-day weekend. My mind is off. We went to the learning zoo, which our friends Drew and Becca own. That place is awesome. It's very small. It's basically run not out of their house, but I mean they've got amazing setups. You've been there before they had built all the stuff, right? And you'd been there before.
I went a couple months back, and so much has changed just even since I've been.
Yeah, it's I gotta say, I can't. They live in one room. We'd be divorced by now.
Oh, 100%. We wouldn't have made it 6 months.
The rest of the house is the business, and they live in one room. And no, I'd have moved outside in a tent or something by now.
They have to agree on what to watch on TV.
Yeah,
and everything.
Yeah,
because I didn't see any other TVs anywhere.
Oh,
no. It's a great little place.
That's what we're all basing this off of.
I mean,
we have to share. I mean, I don't even really watch TV a whole lot.
No, but you would be pissed off if you didn't have one.
But if you had, I leave the room when you start watching stuff I don't want to watch, so it's not a big deal.
But they can't. They're in the room.
Can't. You're stuck. Yeah.
But no, it was great. They had an awesome. They had sulcatas. They had redfoots. And then they had porcupines. They had the African porcupines there. Had great outdoor enclosures for his carpets. He houses his carpets outside. I actually have one of his jungle carpet babies that she fucking hates me. She does.
Jungles do that, yeah.
She just fucking hates me. But he has 2 females outside and a male. And he said last year that male from across the yard could smell the females, and he opened it and it went straight to the females last year. He opened the cage and went straight over to where the females were to their cage. He's got the black dragon housed out there in an awesome outdoor clothes. He's got prairie dogs out there at their zoo.
Those 4 are so cute.
The prairie dogs.
The prairie dogs.
They've got a unicorn.
They do have a unicorn. She's so precious.
I was going to say that. They have a mini horse that they put a horn on for
there you go.
parties.
Okay. I mean, is the horn removable or did
it's
they
removable?
Glue it on there.
Staple it on there.
Yeah, there you go.
She has her own little tea party garden and everything. You didn't go back there to see that.
I didn't care about the tea party garden.
Beautiful.
Pass on the tea party garden.
They have the big ass cooney pigs that everybody like. I want a pet little pig. There's no such thing as a little pig. Just letting anybody know there's no such thing as a little pig.
The goats are fun.
Micro pig is no.
They're micro when they're born. That is it.
Well, you got to understand it's almost like dwarf retic. It's like, okay, so dwarf of a 24-foot animal is still like 11 feet. Like it's
right.
Like eventually you're kind of getting down there, but it's like, it's a micro pig. Yeah, but pigs are big animals.
Yeah. So it doesn't weigh 600 pounds. It weighs 300 pounds.
Good job.
Let it roam your house.
Yep.
But if anybody's in the North Houston area or in the Houston area, you should definitely check out the Learning Zoo and go over there. I was really impressed, and they've got so much room to build more stuff. And I know Drew that he's got tons of ideas for more. And just, I mean, they built a zoo and then he's doing it. Like Owen and I have both worked for zoos.
Mhm.
And we wanted to be able to like afford food, so we stopped that.
Yeah, that was fun. No, but no, because what I think I saw your pictures. They have an African crested porcupine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
two of them.
Yeah,
pair of
actually,
them.
I raised one of those in my house for a while for the zoo I was working for.
So the small male that they have, they bottle raise.
I was impressed. Theirs did not reek. Every one I've ever
uh-uh.
been around smell bad. Like the poop smells horrible. I can't. Oh, it smells so bad. But these were fine.
It's just a very pointy, large guinea pig.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
Yes,
my
it is.
wife wants capybara, and I have to try to be like, no.
No, see,
No.
we had copies at the zoo, and the problem was we had these big, thick hoses that we'd use to spray out the pools. Go hook them up, spray out the pools. But the fucking copies would come by and just bite. Just one bite into the hose, and like, fuck, we're replacing the hose again.
Yeah, it's gone again. Yeah, now
Yeah.
it's almost.
They're cute when they're babies.
Of course they are. It's like a large guinea pig.
Guinea
but
pig. Yeah.
no, it's now she
Uh-uh.
wants emus. She wants.
I see some.
There's another one that wants
Wow.
emus.
Drew wanted emus, and Becca was like, "No." I'm like, "Get emus." It's like owning it out. Fuck emus. Get cassowaries. Go for
That's
it.
what I said. I'm like, I want a cassowary. She's like, we're not getting animals that will eviscerate you. And I'm like, well, now I feel like you're getting what you want, and I don't get what I want, and that's
That's what you should
That's
tell.
unacceptable.
She said,
That's
"Fine, I
unacceptable.
won't get a cassowary. We'll just get a Gila monster." Right?
well, the negotiations that like I'm like, oh well, I'm getting my kangaroos, and she's like, well, you can have a wallaby. I'm like, nobody wants a wallaby. And
if I can't box it, I don't want it. Damn.
Like, I don't want a tiny ass roo.
I'm getting a red kangaroo so we can train together.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do MMA together in the
Oh, yeah.
backyard. Start a
Show him
YouTube
who's
channel,
boss.
kangaroo fights. But no, it was cool. And then I got to hold his Eastern Indigo, the baby,
Nice.
but it was still fucking amazing to hold.
Yeah.
That's a fabulous picture of you two because you are just like enamored by the snake that you're holding. It's adorable.
They're awesome snakes.
It's weird when you get to like hold something that's like, oh, this is a really badass snake, and then you kind of your brain goes like, how can I get this? Like, how can I put this here? Like, the reason I have Vietnamese blue beauties is we got to play with a bunch of cave dwelling rat snakes. I'm like, these things are evil and
They are
awesome, and I
evil.
want them. And then I couldn't find them. I'm like, close enough, and I just grabbed the blue beauties, and then I'm like, they kind of
what you
act the
have, right?
same.
Yeah.
But when
No,
they get old enough, they just stop being those like open mouth, flaring, hissing.
Oh, I can fix that.
Even
Go ahead
children.
and get you a red-tailed green rat snake. It won't stop.
I had it. I lost, like, I had those and they were fun. They didn't like me. They were not doing well with me. So I kind of moved on from them, but I had those for a while too.
Yeah, I just can't do colubrids. They poop too much for me. Like, I would love an Eastern Indigo, but I mean, it shits a lot
That's a big snake too. That's like,
and eats a lot.
it eats a lot. It shits a lot. It takes up a lot of space, and
Got to have a permit. It's
oh
expensive.
yeah, well, yeah, Pennsylvania. It's,
Although, if you get it within state, if you can find somebody within state, it's kind of like my Louisiana pines. When I moved to Texas, we contacted in Texas, said, look, I've got these. They're not wild caught.
mhm.
What do I need to do? Because, well, if you can get a piece of paper that says, you got them from a breeder, that's fine. Bring them over here. Like,
Yeah.
all right, good. I don't have to get a permit. But
Well-
that's one of the species where I'm like, you can try and come take them, but I need you to go to the wild and tell me where I would have found them in the wild.
And
They
then,
can't fucking-
yeah, I will return them if you can find them. Yeah, it's I do my license for PA every couple years, and I have the list of the animals, and the one they flagged and actually called me back was I have black rat snakes, and they're like, out of all the other shit, they're like, whoa now, and I'm like, they're white-sided head albinos. They're like, stamp, okay. I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, that's all I needed to tell you was that they were captive born and bred, and
You could have just told them anything. You could have fucking just made it. You could say they're nannies.
yeah,
They're
it's a nanny
nannies.
morph. Yeah.
Okay, stamped. Well,
Yep.
it was like when Wildlife Fisheries came to my house,
Mm.
because I sold a carpet python I wasn't apparently allowed to sell. They came and I basically had to teach them all the snakes in my house.
Yep.
And I got to I was like, these are samboas, and the guy goes, wait, are those boa constrictors? No. But then I pointed, I was like, that's a boa constrictor.
That's a boa constrictor.
And,
Like, yes
and
and
legally
no.
it's fine. And
Yeah.
then I opened the tub, like, this is a Louisiana pine snake. And they're like, oh, did you get it from so-and-so? I was like, yeah, never mind. I'm like, this is the one snake in here that in Louisiana you should probably be worried about me having. But you're like, is the samboa a boa constrictor? That was the one you were going for.
Pennsylvania Fish and Wildlife has bigger fish to fry than me, who's doing everything by the book and buying their licenses. Like, every year they got to deal with how many people bought alligators in Hamburg, and now we're turning them loose, God knows where. So
that's fucking crazy to me. Like, it just drives me nuts, and I get it, but like, we live in a place where I could literally own an alligator outside, and it would be kept amazingly, but it's illegal. I can't do it, but I can go own a Nile.
Yep, which is weird.
That's horrible. Like, the alligator is such a better pet, and if it gets loose, what the fuck? You won't know. It'll look like the rest of them. We're good. But if you go to Pennsylvania, you can find 70 basements where someone's got one inside of a little kiddie pool.
That, or my favorite was the row home in Philadelphia that jackhammered the foundation of their basement to make a gator pit.
Nice.
Don't get excited.
That was fun. That was fun. I was hauling those alligators out of that basement. That was a fun time. So
who's the one? Was it Bubba? Is it the one that came to NARBC where the guy keeps it in the basement? That's the alligator that was at NARBC that people could touch.
Oh,
yeah, lay it out there. Yeah, that big alligator.
But like, I want to say I watched the video forever ago, but like in his basement is like this like cinder blocked off like areas and pools and giant UV lights, and it like walks up and down the steps. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that'd be awesome.
No.
What?
You're not.
I can't do aquatics. I draw the line at aquatic.
He's not getting an alligator.
Anything that has a large water feature, I'm like, peace. Like now, turtles. Nope.
That's what I like certain turtles, but I don't want to deal with water.
Exactly.
Now,
I can't.
If I get my swimming pool
alligator
that is not used for an alligator, then we can renegotiate the possibility.
Weird. How did the alligator go blind? It's almost like somebody poured a bunch of chlorine in his eye. It's weird.
Look, you should get a Chinese alligator.
I did.
See?
Good luck with those permits.
Good luck with that. That would.
I mean, I know we're like.
So what you're telling me is that there's a chance.
Like, I know where there's like 70 of them within 30 minutes of my house.
You just have to get the permit.
I just gotta afford.
There's bound to be some kind of a loophole because of what you do for a living as an educator.
I need this alligator for my teaching. Yeah.
Well, so in
I need it for emotional support.
That's my emotional support Chinese alligator.
Well, in Texas, you can get a special permit where you get baby alligators in your classroom.
But it's not a special permit. It's not. But it's not a special permit. It's the alligator still owned by whoever's loaning you the alligator.
Yeah.
So why can't we figure out how to do that with the Chinese?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. Something about maybe they're not from here.
I'd have to get Dieter to agree to let me do that first.
Also, I'm not sure about their endangered species. Like, I don't know where they are on that list.
Well, they're endangered. They're pretty endangered.
Then, no.
They're pretty endangered.
You've got
like, you know what I need? I need for my classroom. I need a panda. Like, let's just put a panda in the corner. It'll sit there. It'll chew on its bamboo. I'm not hurting it. It's not hurting me. It's fine.
It's falling over in the back of the room.
Look at it. This animal wants to go extinct. All right?
I've never seen an animal more that needs to go extinct than giant pandas.
Oh, we had two babies. It threw one over there, and then it sat on the other one. Great, thank you.
And then it climbed this tree and fell out of it and broke its neck.
Yeah. Why panda keepers haven't shot themselves yet? I don't know.
When I lived in San Diego, that was the big thing that would have been in 2000. Their panda had a baby, and it was like a 2 or 3 hour wait in line.
So it was in DC
to get to look at this baby little panda that you probably can't even see.
Thing.
And I'm like, I could just pull up the live camera and see it from home.
And red pandas are so much cooler.
Right.
They're not pandas, but they're so much cooler.
Yeah, they like fight with rocks and
they climb and don't fall out of fucking trees.
Right. And if they do, it doesn't kill them.
Like there's
a panda. Yeah.
There's so many. You can go on YouTube and find so many videos of pandas just falling out of shit or just falling off the ground. Like they're on the ground, just falling over.
I mean, I do that sometimes. People still love
Although you said you saw something the other day where in China during the shutdown.
I'm so glad you brought that up, James.
Oh, was that
Let's talk about this book.
My bad. Fuck. I just derailed this shit.
It's okay. I'll wait. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
30, so let her do it now.
So I had a friend of mine. I don't even know if Megan's still on here or not, but she posted this book in a reptile group that I'm a part of, and it's called Pests: How Humans Create Animal Villains. And I've only read the introduction, and I already have like 6 quotes written down and all kinds of thoughts and opinions on this book. And I'm not even into the book. The first chapter is called Fear and Loathing, and it's about rats and snakes. So
okay,
I will come back next week and let you know what I think at that point.
All right.
But in the introduction, it basically talks about how humans are making a pest. Like we decide what is truly a pest based on how much we like the species.
I think we can all agree cats suck, though.
I can, and I
Outdoor cats. I'll say outdoor cats.
Thank you. Okay, yeah.
it
I'm like, I
really-
can't agree yet.
It really
But-
resonated with me because she talks about at the very beginning how cute squirrels are and how everybody loves squirrels. And she's like, and then there's me and fucking Kevin, which is the squirrel that she's named in her backyard. And I personally do not like squirrels.
I have a squirrel.
I like a pet,
Yes.
It's
like a regular squirrel.
It's Pennsylvania. You can own anything.
Well, no, this animal
or
was
do you have
forced.
a Prevost squirrel?
No, it's
No, I have a Florida squirrel that was
yeah.
forced on me by my wife. So along with the tortoise came the squirrel.
It is traveled up north.
Yep.
That scares me a little bit. No.
Yeah, well, we had this big long discussion about how if we couldn't have the squirrel because it was illegal. She called Fish and Game and got a permit, and then now the squirrel is here. So
Good
I'm like,
for her.
I'm like, you told the ring wraiths where to find us, is what you just did.
I mean,
So,
yeah, that's a little scary.
She's like, they already knew. I'm like, yeah, I know. So,
But it talks about how when COVID happened and everything shut down, that there were pandas in Hong Kong that they had been trying, like specific genetic lines that they've been trying to get to breed.
Less stupid
They
genetic line.
wouldn't do it. They
more
hadn't
stupid
been
because they couldn't do
successful.
it. Yeah.
As soon as everything shut down, they had babies, like just like
Because
that.
there
no
weren't
one was-
like it wasn't a team of people staring at them through a glass
That's
divide,
exactly
going like
right.
any minute now.
They were
Like,
yelling,
yeah.
put your penis there. Put your
Yeah.
penis there.
They just let the pandas go in the yard and it happened. Weird.
Yeah.
Although that is hilarious when that one panda thing wanted to put all the babies they had that year on a tabletop. And they did, and hilarity ensued because babies just kept falling off the
And
tables.
rolling. Yep.
And I'm like, please, and like they're taking other babies with them, and I'm like, this is a stupid idea.
I-
Like,
I love the
so,
one of the baby that sneezes
Mm.
and scares the shit out of
Shit
the mom.
out
Like
of
she
the mother,
forgot
yep.
she forgot she had a baby. She's like, what the fuck was that?
dumbest animals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Miller-Adovich would like to know if the squirrel rides around on Mort, the tortoise.
Neither one of those animals is that skilled or trained to do any of that. The squirrel, when you let it out, tends to just, I don't know, be a squirrel and squirrel around the house.
Fuck
Um,
that.
But
No.
the cats will corral the squirrel.
Oh, I
where it needs to
imagine.
go. Yeah. The dog is not allowed to be in the house when the squirrel is out because I cannot fault my dog for trying to kill a squirrel. I feel
Especially
bad
if it's
about
a
that.
husky.
Eh,
Had a hula mix.
So
Goodness.
yep. But no, that does not happen.
No, I don't do rats. I don't do
Have those too.
squirrels.
I have a zoo. I have
We
so
got a
many
whole
animals.
freezer full of rats. I'm
I
fine
do
with
too.
Yeah.
that.
I have other rats that are not food, but they make food. So,
Nice.
Robert has those at his house. I don't
Mhm.
like going.
But if they
in
quit
his
making food, they
garage.
become food.
yeah,
Because
very
I'm
quickly.
very afraid that I'm going to go in the garage one day and everything is going to have eaten its way
So-
out, and then it's going to attack me
So
when I
no,
get
the
to
best
door.
trip we took
It's
a trip.
genuine fear.
We took
that
a trip
I
to
have.
Home Depot one night. And
you
uh,
asshole, you are not going to bring this
I
up.
am, and we went to buy grass seed. And my daughter and I look up, and there are like 3 rats running around.
I was
and,
done.
and my wife saw Katie saw them, and she freaked the
I
fuck out.
left. I have an irrational fear that they are going to eat my toes. Okay, like not. I think it's
I mean, it
because
happens.
I
think it's
mean,
because when
Not if you
I
were real
was
shoes.
when I was a
the
junior-
1400s, yeah.
when I was a junior in high school, my English teacher, our gifted English
Got
teacher,
eaten by a rat.
made
Yeah.
us watch the end scene from the film 1984,
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
have the rat
At least
in
they make
the
you watch
cage,
Willard.
and that's how they tortured this man. Was the rat in the cage slowly moved closer to his face when he wouldn't give up the information that they wanted, the government, and then it killed him and it
On-
ate him.
On
And
Game
I,
of Thrones, they put it in a metal bucket.
oh, I didn't watch
Oh,
it.
yeah,
strapped
like
to
that.
the
Oh, yeah,
chest,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
put heat on the end,
Yep.
and it would eat through them.
I couldn't do it. I
Despite
did
all
not
its
watch
rage,
that.
it was still just a
Still
rat
just
in a cage. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Well, that was the
Yeah.
other night we went to Home Depot, and so it's right there by the door as you go out into
I
the
had real
garden center.
shoes on, so I was fine,
And so-
and I was
So we're
prepared.
walking to the door to go into the garden center, and all of a sudden I go, "Oh shit!" And she
I
jumped.
hit him so hard. You're such a jerk.
Oh, it's funny.
sometimes the hit is worth it. So
it was.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
worth it.
Oh, our kid
I'll
thought
take
it
it.
was the funniest thing ever. Thought it was the funniest thing ever.
So there were a few things that I posted over on our Facebook page that I want to talk about on our group. One was wombat poop.
Square.
Wombat poop is
totally-
square.
Square.
I
Mhm.
missed that.
It is square
Looks like
plate.
charcoal
square.
briquettes.
And this video explains how their intestines work and why it comes out. The thicker muscles in the intestines squeeze
I
it
didn't
into
watch that.
a square shape. And it comes, I mean,
I was fine knowing that it was square. I didn't care about
I didn't
the
need
how.
to see it. Yeah.
like, but it's not like if you squint your eyes, it's square. It's like we could stack these up and build a house. It's square.
Yeah.
So wombat shit.
It's considerate of him. It doesn't go anywhere. It just kind of clumps. Yeah.
Speaking of cassowaries, there's also Ryan Goslow posted they did a surgical procedure at St. Augustine Alligator Farm on their cassowary. So that's cool. That's still the most scared I've ever been walking into an animal enclosure. Like I've jumped on crocodiles.
I was good.
Cassowary
till
scared me the most.
Our bobcat climbed my leg when I was doing pictures. That
I was
day.
never a fan of going in with the bobcats in general.
Yeah.
But
Pudge like straight up climbed my leg and it scared me.
yeah, because they have claws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And teeth.
Yeah. We had a serval.
Oh, we had a serval.
We had a serval
We had
that
an
was
education
for
serval,
education.
but it was only good with one person, and it was not a very good education animal.
I
Like you
will
couldn't
be-
get near it.
No.
I will be honest, the longer I did programs with him, like the more comfortable he was around me. Like he would come up to me
Every
and
picture,
then he was fine.
every picture of him is him with his mouth open, hissing at you.
Mm-hmm.
Every picture.
Yep. We had a serval and we had a caracal, and that was just basically so they
Caracol's
could hit
cool.
you from far away. Like, just
That's
everybody
everybody's-
with those long ass legs.
everybody sees the serval goes, look at the cheetah. I'm like, not even
No!
close.
Oh,
Stop
yeah.
it. Shut
That
up.
happened. That was all the time.
Fuck.
That was the caracal.
That's
was the
normally where my
cougar.
education program started with the serval, not a cheetah.
Not a cheetah. I did post something I do want. It's only $400. There's a guy on Etsy that makes 4-foot solid rubber, like identical realistic alligators.
Keith was showing that to us because he's like, I think he wanted to have one made or put into a coffee table, and I'm like, okay, like, sure,
It
why
looks
not?
awesome. They look real. You can get them in leucistic, but I want a normal looking one.
Of course.
Bryce Halford said he worked with that would be fucking scary. He worked with a baboon for a bit. Scariest animal I've been face to face with. Fuck that.
Nope.
Ringtail lemurs. They are
Spider monkeys.
I don't
Yeah,
even like going into the gorilla exhibit at the Houston Zoo. Like
Because
just
it's
being,
all open.
because it's the big open glass, and I'm like, nope,
Just wait for him to
something's gonna kill me. I need to
Um,
leave. I can't do it.
That ringtail lemur that he has at a crocodile encounter, he's like, yeah, don't get close.
Yeah.
Don't get close to this thing because he's all cute and cuddly until he bites your face off.
Kinkajous. Kinkajous are
Yes.
a health
Yes.
spawn from.
Oh my
it-
god!
So many people
Yep.
want those as pets. And I'm
we
like, no.
had one in the
I
education
have
department,
been-
and
I have
she
a-
hated me.
I have a scar right here from a kinkajou that bit me, and then I had to hold her here because she had broken out of her cage. So she's ripping
shit.
chunks out of me as I'm getting her back to her enclosure. So now they have that alarm call. And
Yeah.
I think I was walking through a Maryland show once, and somebody had brought their kinkajou with them, and it made that alarm call.
You just
And
run.
I'm like Vietnam flashbacks. I'm like, we need to get the hell out of here. I'm like,
Yeah.
running away. Like it was, yeah.
Not
Nope.
okay.
So I interned at a zoo, and they had all the spider monkeys on an island, and like it was just they're like, we do not go out there. We do not.
We throw
Go out.
food at them. Like,
Yeah,
okay.
you do not get near them. If you go out there with somebody, and they watch them, and you don't go near them. So then when I first interviewed at the zoo I worked at,
Mm.
I'm
She
walking
had
around.
3 babies.
Well, I'm walking
didn't she?
around with my then director who's since passed away, but he's showing me everything after hours, and one of the keepers is leaving for the day with animal carrier, and inside are 3 baby spider monkeys.
Like
so
little baby.
I'm standing there
spider
talking to them, and
monkeys.
she opens it up, and one jumps on me, and I fucking freeze. Like, look, all I know is I don't go near these things.
I was told not to touch them.
I would go.
And now it's touching me.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's fine. But then one day we had to go out and catch an adult, and I realized how fucking strong. Like, they look frail.
Yeah.
They're big, gangly arms.
Yeah.
no.
Yep. No.
But you throw a
Nope.
net over them, and they just take their tail and go, no, I don't want that. net."
Nope. No. Try
Nope.
again.
Yeah.
It's fighting
But,
something with an extra
I would
limb.
go eat lunch with those babies before they were too big and were put out.
Well,
on
that was
exhibit,
so.
but-
My director, when he was alive, they said he would go out to the island with an animal carrier, and multiple people told me this, so I know it's real. He would go there. He would open the carrier, look at the monkey, and tell it to get in. It would walk in and close the door behind it. No one else could fucking do that.
No,
That man was magic.
he was magic for several.
It's also
other
like
reasons,
one of the
too.
best pictures is of him with his pet leopard.
Yeah.
Like there's not like in a cage, like he's
God.
looking at it, like it's next to him with his pet leopard. Or like when he went swimming with the alligator, because he promised the alligator whenever it finally had a deep enough pool to go swimming, he would.
Right.
And he waited till everybody left, and then he went swimming with a full-grown 10+ foot alligator. I'm like,
no thanks.
His
like-
wife is like, I just don't know that that's
oh, I
real.
fucking totally.
And I'm like,
No.
I totally believe.
I talked to several keepers. They're like, no, he walked back by soaking
and
wet,
He was wet, like
head to toe. He had jumped in.
He was a cool guy.
It's just some people are fucking weird like that.
Pass.
Mhm.
But yeah,
no.
monkeys are a big no. Bryce Halford said capuchins are my favorite. Nope, fuck that.
Nope.
Nope.
I don't trust any kind of monkey.
I don't. Yeah, I don't do
Nope.
monkeys.
I don't trust birds.
I don't trust conures.
That's like I've talked about going out to like Tyler Cleckley's place, but that's a lot of monkeys.
A lot of
I
monkeys.
can't. I have anxiety thinking about that. Like I some people can. More power to you. I am not one of those people. I know my limits.
Don't trust monkeys.
That
Nope.
is
No.
a hard limit for me.
Like I said, I've been in with several different types of animals, and it's funny. The reptiles are not the ones that scared me the most.
No,
well, I think,
yeah.
like, when the Nile crocodile tried to eat my face one time, that
But-
did get me.
But you know how a crocodile is gonna act. It's gonna be a crocodile.
Yeah.
Well, the problem
Like-
was the fucking crocodile was laying there doing nothing while I cleaned the pool,
Yeah.
and we're great for like 30 minutes. I'm cleaning the pool, and I'm like 4 feet down in this pool, just wiping everything. All of a sudden, it just launches itself off the side of the pool and slaps down 4 feet onto the concrete, and I ran straight up the waterfall, and I
Yeah.
was gone.
Yeah. I pepper sprayed myself in an alligator enclosure. We had a big bull alligator cage, and we used to go in there and clean it, and he would just kind of chill in his pond and do his thing. And we used to have the emergency belt, which was like pepper spray.
Yeah.
And, a couple
Yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff like that. So he lunges, and I grab the pepper spray. What the hell was I going to
What were
do
you
to
gonna
him?
do? He's like, great, now you're gonna taste good for him.
Right. And then he was just like, yeah, like that's all he was doing. And so then I'm like, all right, go back to work. It's hot. It's, I sweaty. I do this. And then it just starts getting in my eyes. And I'm like, oh no, I'm blind. And now he's here and he's
Oh my
pissed. And
gosh.
so I had to have somebody come in and rescue me. Like it was, yeah.
Hey, Katie, they do a gorilla encounter thing at the Houston Zoo.
Oh, I know.
No, I'm good.
No way.
Yeah.
Joe wants to do the elephant one. The problem is that she's not old enough to do it by herself. So I'm going to have to pay for 2 people to do it.
The bath or the regular encounter? They have an elephant bath.
She
Well,
wants to
Joe
do the
does need a bath, so I'll probably go with that one. Our daughter.
Whew, that's $225
Times
per
2.
person.
I don't love either one of y'all that much.
I
Fuck that.
know.
Mm-mm.
She may just have to wait till she's old
You
enough
can
to do
see
it
the
by
elephants
herself.
right there. We
Well-
don't have to get in there with them.
And that was the thing when we were in Australia. They're like, do you want to pay $100 to go in the crocodile cage? I'm like, yes, I do. And this man is coming with me.
That's what because you went to the glass tube,
Yeah,
right?
and Eric's like, "What are you?" I'm like, "Follow the people." Like, yeah, we're going.
paid for it, go.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was the cage of death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I probably would do that.
Of course. Like, when the hell am I going to be back in Darwin? Like,
If
here
my
you go.
eyes are
Here's,
closed, I won't know what's coming at me. So I'll be
Oh no,
fine.
you're not closing your eyes. You
yeah.
go into
That's
Pay
how I
$100
wrote-
for you to close your freaking eyes.
That's how I wrote
You go
pretty
into a
much
giant-
everything at Universal.
you go into a
You go into a
plexiglass
giant
tube.
acrylic tube, and they lower you into this saltwater
Oh,
crocodile's cage. Now,
Yeah.
they lowered us in this
No.
saltwater crocodile cage. He's missing a couple limbs because he's an older croc, and all he wanted to do was just lay on his ramp and go to sleep. And they kept like tempting him with chicken and all this other stuff. And he swam by us, but he didn't really care too much about what we were doing. But they had a nesting mother in like 2 cages over. I'm like, now lower me in that cage. I want to see what she does. Like,
Now, what's funny though, if they were to lower you in without the cage, I guarantee he's a completely different crocodile.
exactly, completely different animal. He's like, well, no, now there's not this. But even then, he's swimming by, and it's like the smallest scoot on his tail is the size of my hand, and I'm like,
Oh
yep,
yeah.
that's not terrifying at all. Like,
I remember the first time I saw.
myself.
I remember the first time I saw the saltwater at St. Augustine. I was like,
mhm.
I'm like, they come that big?
Oh
the
yeah,
fuck
that
is
was.
It's a bus with teeth.
And they had these slits in the acrylic, so every once in a while it would line up that you would like eye to eye through this big slit, and you're like, I could stick my hand right in there and touch him, but
That's a
then
good
he'd
idea.
take it. Like, it's like, yeah, no. So I'm gonna keep it here. So it was, but it was fun. It was again. It's like, when's next time you're gonna be in Darwin, Australia? Fine, $100. Here we go.
I would
So,
totally do that.
Yep.
And I'm horrified of getting in the water, but I could do that.
He is.
Mm.
He called me one time from his kayak that had gotten stuck on a cypress knee and was like, I live here now.
I wasn't getting in.
Please have all of my mail forwarded to me.
My
And I
dad
was like,
texted-
are you kidding
I'm
me?
texting my dad. He's like, just get in and push it off. Nope.
I was like, baby, just rock the kayak. You
There
will
could be
fine.
manatees
Nope.
in there. I'm not getting in there. Yeah.
There were alligators for sure in there.
Of
and I
course.
was not getting in there with them. Everybody's like, they won't mess with you until they do.
Till they
Tell
do,
that-
and then it's
Tell that to that little kid that died in Disney World. He was in Disney World and got eaten by an
He
alligator.
wasn't 6'4" either.
Those were Mickey Mouse. Those were Mickey Mouse alligators, and they ate a person.
those are Disney property, and they ate a person. Yeah,
Imagine a wild one who's like not even
been waiting his
universal.
whole life for this one dude to get in this one part of the river,
Like that.
unsuspecting. Yeah,
Funny.
Going through. Oh, also, I want to shout another reminder. I know we had him on last week, and I should have said at the beginning again. But if anybody missed last week, please go back and give a listen to the beginning when we had Travis Wyman on. And we've also posted it on our Facebook pages and groups. But his wife is looking for a kidney. Like, I know it sounds like a joke, like there's a punchline there, but no, she is
Not to make haggis.
she's not looking for a meal.
She needs it for herself.
She honestly needs a kidney. And if anybody out there is willing to donate or know somebody or wants to get in touch,
I need to hook her up with Matt, my friend that needs
the
a kidney. Maybe they can.
maybe they can find somebody.
Because if he has one that matches her and she has one that they can swap.
Yes,
fine.
and I was actually just supposed to say, Travis mentioned that
Mhm.
that even if you are not a direct donor,
Yep.
that it's possible that you will be
Yeah.
a match for someone else on the list, and that their person will be a match for her. And at that point, the way that the system works is they would be able to swap.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anybody out there, please go check that out and read that. Reach out to Travis if you want to help. But that's a serious thing. I know we talked about poop and everything else, but kidneys. She needs a kidney.
Mm.
Human kidney.
Human
not-
kidney. Human kidney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
So this is a messed up video, but I thought it was kind of funny. There's a person using a little remote control power boat, and the crocodile's chasing it around.
I missed that. I've missed a bunch of stuff this week, apparently.
Alligators play with toys. I got when they started training the different crocs to do stations for feeding and stuff at zoos. It's like that's not gonna. Holy shit, they lined up. Like it's like okay.
Do you want to know the worst idea? It didn't seem like a worst idea at the time. It seemed like a great enrichment idea. But giving live carp to a Nile crocodile is
Yeah,
great
just
until you
crunchy.
realize
Yeah.
that the carp doesn't stay in the enclosure. They're going to fling it everywhere. And carp ended up
Yeah.
everywhere, out of the enclosure, on the walkway.
Yeah, that was Mike Curtin gave me a bunch of trout for feeding my Crebo and a bunch of other stuff, and I had one that was rather large, too big for my guys. So I'm like, I'll see if a carpet python will take it. Problem is, my carpets hit so hard when they're hungry, and they just grip it. So my one female bit this thing, twisted it, and it just exploded. And I mean, there was fish on the ground, on the ceiling, outside of the cage, inside the cage, and she still got it by the head, and then whatever was left still attached. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna let you finish, and I'll come back later. And she ate the fish, but then there was still fish.
Remnant.
It's like the old
remnants.
the way too warmed up pinky.
Oh yeah. Imagine that, but fishy.
Fishy. Our buddy Nathan Holcomb posted an awesome thing of the world's largest hatching of baby sea turtles.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was cool.
I will cry.
Yeah, I've never seen you more emotional.
That caught me off guard.
You were pretty drugged up when Joe was born, so probably that wasn't it.
No,
You seeing the
don't
sea
remember
turtles,
much of it.
you seeing the sea turtles in Corpus Christi up close. I didn't realize it was going to
shocked.
affect you that much.
I wish I would. That was when I had COVID, wasn't it?
No, we took
We took Logan with us.
Yeah,
Y'all
I don't
were
know where
like
y'all
hotel
were.
or something,
and
you didn't feel good, I think.
and I went back,
Because
We took
Logan
Logan,
went with us.
and then I regretted it.
But it caught me off guard how emotional I got.
Yeah.
Which makes me fully believe that if I ever see them hatching on the beach and going to the ocean, I'm gonna lose.
She's
it.
gonna be out there punching seagulls in the face.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
today, motherfucker.
It's gonna be so ugly.
Give her a
James
stick
Reed
and take
video
her to that
is-
South
Oh,
American
God.
beach. She'll be punching coatis.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be
Elbow
so
drop on
bad.
a raccoon.
Yep.
Be like the guy that stopped the mountain lion from killing the deer that you posted the other day,
Oh yeah.
and you're like, "Stupid! Just let it do what it's supposed to
But
do."
listen, you know that
Yeah.
the part of that I don't like. Hawks and pumas, they got to eat too. Like
Yep.
you know, maybe every once in a while it's got to get eaten.
That's right.
That's mentioned. It's
In the
mentioned
best-
in the book. At
Uh,
what point do you draw the line? Like, is it a pest or is it a predator? Like,
Well, so this is this guy. Is there? Brian McDowell posted a thing of some pictures of a king brown, eastern brown snake in Australia eating blue tongue.
Mm.
You know, and somebody would normally go, oh, because the poor blue tongue. But again, that's
aren't
that's
they
Australia.
everywhere there?
I mean,
They're not endangered, are they?
no.
Oh.
When I
No.
saw somebody that lives in Australia that commented, and they were like, "We've always been told that if we have blue tongues in our yard, we won't have snakes." Well, apparently that's not correct.
I think it's the reverse. If you have if the prey is here, the predator
Yes.
is not far behind.
Yeah,
will
like,
be there.
Correct.
like I have frogs and toads in my yard, and I get black rat snakes, ringnecks. Like I know snakes will appear.
You would imagine as many toads as we have here that we would have more snakes.
Oh, when I walk to my truck in the summer here, I always look.
Oh,
So
so,
there'd be a hog nose somewhere,
so
motherfucker.
Throw
I
down
know
a- Throw down a board. Who knows
we're getting
what might
close
appear
to our
under it.
2-hour mark. However, we did not mention that my wonderful loving husband wants to put our child up for sale
Okay.
What for this time?
for when he was taking a nap, and she decided to.
Oh, I wake up and I find a picture of a snake on my phone. She texted me. I'm like, you didn't fucking call me? She was across the street, like right there across the street, found a snake outside. I'm like,
She
What
was
it?
riding her
I
scooter.
couldn't tell. It was a little, maybe like a little brown snake or something. But I'm like,
She said she didn't touch it. She said she took a picture and then went back to riding
I was
her
like,
scooter.
what the hell is wrong with you, kid?
I
She at
never
least
got
took
it.
the picture. She wasn't like, oh, I saw a snake. the
But
other
I'm like,
day."
we literally go driving for hours down
Yeah.
roads to
Would
find
have been
these
funny if
things.
it would have been like a hog nose or something that we.
Yeah.
Right across the
Um,
street.
Yeah, she did
I had
not send it to me because she knows one of us will be awake while she's outside.
Nope. I was pissed off.
it's normal.
I had a flattened rough earth snake in my driveway the other day.
Oh, that sucks.
I was like, oh, poor little guy.
This was one I thought was funny. I stole it from, I think I stole it from a zookeeper Facebook group, but this is one that Owen can relate to. It's any movie as soon as the jungle character enters or as soon as the characters enter the jungle, and it's a picture of a kookaburra, a howler monkey, and
Yep.
a peacock.
Yep.
As soon as, no
Yep.
matter what jungle they go into,
No
those
matter
are the
where it
three
is.
sounds.
We will. My wife and I actually will call them out. Like
Yeah.
if you hear it, like, up there's the kookaburra. Weird.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. I thought we were in South America. So that's odd.
So those South American kookaburras. That's
James will pause it and be like, "That's this and that's this."
I do that
and
on
that's this,
Naked
Naked
and
and Afraid. I
Yeah.
pause it all the time when Naked and Afraid. I'm like, that snake doesn't belong there.
Right.
That's my other favorite
Like
thing.
when they
it's
show the ball pythons in South American jungle.
Yeah.
right, or it's the pit of venomous snakes. I'm like, Berm.
Oh
No.
no! If you go back,
Like
and,
that.
if you go back and watch Indiana Jones, it's legless lizards. It's
All
giant
legless
European
lizards.
legless lizards.
Yep.
I didn't realize as a kid, but I was older. I watched like those aren't fucking snakes.
That's stupid. Like, yeah, those are all legless lizards in the. What was it the second one when they cut open the snake? I'm like, those are eels. Not
Like-
even baby berms.
I was like, where they're at, they would have berms, and those would lay eggs. That doesn't make any sense.
nothing makes sense here.
Yeah. Bryson Halford said he just moved to his new place in Idaho, and he can't wait for warmer weather. Yeah, to find rubber boas. Shut up, Bryson.
Yep.
I want to find rubber boas in the wild. Be amazing.
That sounds like a good trip.
We're trying. I think we're taking Nipper out to go find timbers this summer.
Awesome.
Because we got a couple good timber spots here.
That's
Y'all have
cool.
those good dark timbers up there too, don't you?
We do. We have a nice mix. You got to go a little bit more west, and then you get kind of those really nice light timbers. I get the ones I keep finding are the really, really dark ones.
Ours here have the really gold chevrons,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gorgeous. But I'd love to find some of those dark ones.
Yeah, we did that, and we did copperheads last June. So
Dude, my friend Reese has been finding copperheads like crazy. Everything he flips has got 2 or 3 copperheads under it.
I
the last few
never
weeks.
found a copperhead, and then I just got to the right place and I found like 4 in like 2 minutes. I'm like, well, that was fun.
I removed
One house.
5 from one house once.
Yeah, we've heard that story a few times.
Yeah, because it was amazing. All right,
But
it is coming up on 2 hours, and so
Your co-hosts are tired.
my co-hosts are yelling. They haven't both been on the podcast together in like a year apparently. So
We're tired.
it's nice to have y'all back.
I even took a nap and I'm still ready to go back to bed.
So
I did.
wake up.
Not everybody stays up till 2 a.m. and can still function, James. Okay.
But why?
Because you're a freak of nature.
I don't know what to tell you.
Mm.
So and if people want to reach out to you, or if you don't want to reach out to you,
Don't find me. I don't want to talk to people. No, it's rogue-reptiles.com, rogue_reptiles on Instagram. And Facebook, it's just, I think, Rogue Reptiles at this point. But if you see that black flag with the white snake on it, you're in the right place. So that, or you can go and just look it up on MoreliaPythonRadio.com and all the different things for NPR.
Morelia Python Network. So now it's a network. The last time I
Now
talked
we
to
have a
you,
net-
100 and something episodes ago, there wasn't even a network.
Yeah,
Just y'all.
now we got tons of freaking shows. We have I want to say it's like 10 or 12. I don't remember how many shows there are. Eric does all the editing. I'm just the plucky comic relief. So yeah,
It's like you and I were talking earlier. Now that we do podcasts, I do so many. I don't listen to podcasts anymore.
no, I do
I don't listen to
audiobooks.
reptile ones.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I like binge Chris's.
Oh,
I'll listen to 3 or
books on
4.
tape.
I listen to a lot of true crime. I
Mhm.
don't know why I've gotten into that, but I have because I used to actually investigate.
Hey, if you
crime.
listen to the right reptile stuff, true crime and reptile, it's the same
It
thing.
can bleed in. Yeah.
Did you see that hockey player is now filed for bankruptcy that was buying
Yes.
Ben Rennick's
Oh no!
and only ever, I guess, made one payment on it?
Oh shit!
And he's got $50 million in liabilities, but he makes $13 million contract, but he's broke.
Huh.
That's because it just shows that even an NHL hockey player can totally torpedo a reptile business
Yep.
when you spend more than you make.
That's
so
right.
yeah.
Because I think he paid 1.3 is what they said for Ben's collection.
Yep. One
But
So
point
did
two
he
million.
physically get it?
Or
He
somebody
got
else.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
But then-
he got everything, but he only made one payment.
well, we
and-
got almost everything. I know the anacondas ended up in Megan's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
But anyway,
If you want to reach out to Robert, if anybody needs a rack or a cage, reach out to LS Reptile Racks.
.com.
See, yeah, it's
Nice.
just fun.
Oh my gosh.
Come see us. Well, come see Robert at any of the Herb shows. Come see us. We will be recording shows live at Conroe. Come say hi to us. We got to record a bunch of shows so we can take some weeks off.
Nobody record you if you're interesting.
Yeah. So come check us out. If you want to reach out to us, it is the Reptile Gumbo Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and at gmail.com. Don't forget our giveaway. Go over, check out our Facebook pages. You can win a blood python calendar from Brittany Gobble. All you gotta do is just tell us what 2 pythons you'd want to mix together and why. And
No. I thought it was what 2 reptiles.
Let's say pythons, reptiles.
Yeah,
We talked about
it's what
pythons
2
tonight.
reptiles.
What 2 reptiles you would want to mix together and why? Owen doesn't want any of his pythons to mix together because that means one probably ate one. So that'd probably be a bad
Yeah,
thing.
no. And we don't you never cross the streams. Okay. Like, just stick in there. You can do a bunch of stuff, but never cross the streams.
Never cross streams.
Yep.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching, listening.
Owen, stick around for a minute.
Sure.
We will be back next week with someone. I'll figure it out within the next week. Goodbye.